Hello, everyone. It's Drop Frames. It's Sunday. What's that face for, Zeke? What do you turn that frown upside? You look. Hi, everyone. What are you doing? You're muted. I'm muted. You're good. Now talk again. What'd you say?
I'm saying hi.
Oh, hi.
That's what I'm saying.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Welcome.
Yep.
Glad to have you here. No
it's
guest
good to
this
be
week.
Here.
Yeah. No guest this week. Just the three of us. I guess we could talk about games. I suppose. Maybe. We could talk about Twitter verification. Did you know that there is a thing? Is it check? Hold on. Someone in my Discord posted this. Is it check? Oh, yeah. Apparently, if you go to Urban Dictionary,
oh God,
the slur for people who have a check mark is checky. So if you have a check mark on Twitter, you are now a checky.
I heard it was checker.
Okay.
Could be both, maybe. Could be both.
It depends.
Yeah.
On who you ask. You could be a checky or a checker.
That's true. Yeah.
It depends on, I guess when you came into the check mark world, like, did you come into Twitter the next generation? Or did you come in in the original series?
Mine is like 2011. I was OG. Yeah. Yeah, I was OG on it.
Okay.
Mine was the reason why Elon wanted to get rid of it, because it was a Vegas bar. Hey, you run Twitter? You got a check mark? Yeah, man. All right, let's do some shots, man. And then I got a check mark the next day. So that's how it worked back then in the esports days.
Man, I was close a couple of times to getting my check mark. Like, I talked to the right people, and a couple of times, one of the times was like, all right, I'm gonna set up a meeting with you and someone from Twitter. I was like, okay, cool.
Oh, you had a meeting
or whatever.
Oh, an email.
Yeah, just an email. And they came back to me a week later, and they were like, that person is gone now. I was like, what? And they're like, yeah, before they left, though, they like gave out a bunch of check marks, and then they just pieced out of Twitter. And I was like, God damn it.
Oh, okay. I know who that I know who that person was. I know exactly who that was. They, funny enough, lost their check mark as well 2 days ago. I saw their tweet about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
A weird thing.
I've been loving all the back and forth and the fact that Elon's buying check marks for, buying. He's giving free check marks to certain celebrities. I even saw today that he's given some to dead celebrities.
Yeah, I saw Pele had one. It was like, Pele has bought this check mark or whatever.
Yeah, and verified their phone number. Like,
verified their phone number. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people are saying now that if you have 1 million or so followers, that they're just giving people those check marks back. That's like the threshold is 1 million.
Dude, but that's the thing. It's funny that you say that, because when I was trying to get mine the first time, they were like, okay, the magic number is 1 million. 1 million across all things.
Yeah.
So like 1 million across your YouTube, your Twitch, your Twitter. So if all those, or your social medias, whatever, if all those follower numbers add up to about 1 million, then you can have it. And I was sitting at like, I don't know, like 400,000, like across everything back then. Like,
yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, I'm not even close, dude. There's no fucking way I'm ever getting this check mark.
Right. Yeah. Cool. What were you going to say?
I just like the fact that the blue check marks used to be like, yeah, we got to get these blue check marks off the platform because it's just glad handing, and people just get them who don't deserve them. And now it's like, or you can just pay for them, or Elon can like you.
Yeah, no, it means nothing. Yeah.
Like we've very much gone in a bit of a circle there.
100%.
Anyway, now that we've talked about non-games for 15 minutes, let's go to games. Woo!
We're doing games. Is your audience too upset?
Hold on one second.
I'm furious.
Before we go,
I'm so sick of talking about Twitter, man. I feel like it's
a lot.
It's such a dead horse.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing. I don't talk about it on my stream. I like that. I talk about that kind of stuff with you guys.
Sure.
So like I'm raring to talk about this shit. But the only thing is, like, I want to say, like, I don't care, like, if it's, for your business, go ahead and get Twitter blue. But like watching comments on like, someone famous doesn't have the check mark, and every single comment like that is talking shit to them, every single one of those has a blue check mark.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
And it's honestly become a little bit of like the blue check mark doesn't like if you pay for it, it doesn't automatically mean you're a douche, I guess.
Sure.
But it does make you want to look into it more. So I'll like look into it and go like, all right, is this person a douche?
Oh, nice.
And I'll
Really took us
but
down.
it's definitely something that I will check into rather than before when I was like, oh, this is a notable account.
For me, I know good people whom I like, and I know are good people paying for Twitter Blue for reasons that they fundamentally believe in, like to promote their business or to promote whatever they're working on or that kind of thing. It's important to them. And in that case, when I really realized that, that was a big popular line of thinking, I was just like, you know what? Just not even waste our time with it. Like, whatever. Like, do you really want to do like individual accounts of every single person and justify it? And then at the end of the day, when you start falling it down, it's just like, who cares? Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not a teams thing, man. It's not a we aren't sneeches, dude. We aren't sneeches. It's not like if you have a star on your belly or not. Did anyone read Dr. Seuss?
It's true. It's true.
Okay.
They have stars on theirs.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just it's notable to me, or it's something that I've noticed personally, that most of the accounts that of shit talkers and pot stirs and all that kind of stuff, like by and large have a blue check mark now.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're going to pay their $8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's been fun just reading the conversation on Twitter and also just watching Drill and other people just do some light trolling. That's been good. I've been enjoying that.
Speaking of Drill, I'm just coming into the like driller verse or whatever it's called, and no, I'm serious. Like this person has come to my attention within the last year. And I like, cause I'm so far like out of pop loops and stuff like that I don't understand a lot of their tweets. Is that the point?
Wait,
kind of.
Oh, Drill. Oh, the weird guy with the glasses.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the point.
I was like, is this a new pop idol I've never heard of or something? Who is Drill? Okay.
Yes, he's a huge pop. He's from South Korea. Massive. No. He's just that's pretty much the way you described him, Zeke, is pretty accurate.
Okay.
There's not much history to it or story behind it. It's just
a random. For those wondering in chat, he's a random Twitter account.
Yeah,
It's just a random Twitter account that
picked up a large
A
following
memester.
because he's very much a troll.
says really weird, strange things. Sometimes the tweets are funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes they literally don't make any sense. They're just
Okay.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
He's just a weird Twitter account. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Anyways, not that much news this week, to be honest. We had some more in the Dark and Darker world. The most recent update regarding Dark and Darker was that the lawyers on Dark and Darker's side asked Valve to bring the game back to Steam in a letter that was blasting Nexon for, quote, anti-competitive bully tactics. I don't think that really did anything, but, they're going to try. I don't know if that was... I wonder if that was a result because of how many people were not interested in grabbing a torrent to patch, to play, to go through all that stuff. Like, numbers were definitely down compared to all of their previous Steam tests. So I wonder if that was an attempt to just get that back or what the process was there. We'll probably never know. That's Dark and Darker will probably keep that close to their chest. But
The whole situation is still pretty murky.
yeah.
I'll be on purpose at this point.
Yeah.
I did get I want to just break some news for you guys.
Breaking
I have a
news.
secret admirer.
Oh God, no! Did you get that email too?
Wait, what?
You bet I did.
Oh man, a guy got fired over that. So
well, that's the
basically,
thing. That's the thing. People are saying like that's the rumor is like he got fired, but like they said he got fired, but like the wide contention is like they just said somebody got fired over this, and probably no one did, or whatever. Just to like give you a brief TLDR, a company who is like emails content creators and stuff, and it's like, we can grow your channel, or we can do this for you, we can do that for you.
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of those, and they sent like a few emails. Sometimes companies send like a couple of them, like, hey, see, you didn't respond to our last email. How about this? And then like the fourth or fifth one they sent was the beginning of it was like, you've got a secret admirer. And oh god, I gotta read it to you. It's fucking hilarious. But they sent an apology. Dear partner, I apologize for the inappropriate "you've got a secret admirer" email from one of our former employees. We understand that his email to you and other influencers was offensive and unprofessional. We take full responsibility for his actions. We want to assure you that this individual is no longer with our company, and we have taken steps to ensure that something like this will not happen again. Now, there is one line that I really liked.
Yeah, what? The email just said you've got a secret admirer or something. We watch your stream and want to sponsor you.
Okay, hold on. Let me just do.
It gets a little weirder. It actually gets a lot weirder.
Yeah. I hope this email finds you well. I'm writing today because I've been a fan of your Twitch channel for a while. I love engaging content you create for your viewers. The title of the email is "You've Got a Secret Admirer." However, I'm a little disappointed that I haven't heard back from you about our collaboration opportunity. I understand you might be busy, so we've devised a unique way to catch your attention. We've decided to become your secret admirer. That's right. We've been watching your channel and are still very interested in collaborating with you. We believe that our product would be an excellent fit for your audience and could provide them with great value. Please let us know if you're interested in going on a date with us. I'm excited to hear back from you.
Weird.
Oh, dude. It's fantastic. That's the best. I loved it.
That's weird.
It was just a super weird way. Like, honestly, personally, like, it's because probably because of, like, you know, I am who I am. It really struck me as like, wow, that's a little, you're trying a bit too hard. I appreciate the effort, like trying a different tack, but I don't think it's gonna work. But some people like did not like it at all, and obviously it had enough backlash that they sent an apology. And this is the line I loved in the apology. We understand that this incident has caused a lot of inconvenience and discomfort, and we apologize for any negative impact it may have had on your reputation.
Weird.
On your reputation?
I don't know.
There were actually people that were saying that because it felt stalkery that they were triggered by it. And it was
I could totally see that.
It was a big public falling, like, what were these guys thinking kind of thing.
Yeah. I totally get that. Zeke doesn't get stalkers that sit outside of his house like a lot of these streamers. So I can see why they would get offended at that. Yeah.
Was very strange.
Yeah.
No, it's like, it's something that I think my wife would get, you know, like an email from like a rabid fan saying like, I'm your secret admirer or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, thinking about it like that, a secret admirer sounds just that two words together, just scream creepy.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Anyways, I guess they won't be sending any more emails if they did let that person go, like they said they did.
We want to go out on a date with you as a company, I guess.
It's weird.
As a company, we'll just bring the company and you bring you, and we'll
have a weird way to approach.
That'll be a thing.
What else is going on? Jedi Survivor. There's kind of twofold news here. Jedi Survivor coming out this week. I think me and Co are both looking forward to that.
Hell yeah. Big time.
Do you see how big it is in terms of download size? 147 gigs. And that is on PS5 specifically. According,
It's coming on PC too, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And so the other big drama that came,
Can my PS5 even have that much? Like, how big
yeah,
are the hard drives?
they have terabyte drives on them.
Okay.
Unless you put another one in it, then you can have 2 terabyte. But the other thing is when you buy the game, and EA's done this before. I think EA's done this before with some other games. When you buy the physical disc on like the PS5 or Xbox One version, it's just a code. You still have to download it. Or sorry, maybe it has like the executable on the disc where you still have to download the rest of the game. Because you can't fit 147 gigs on a singular disc. That's just not something that's possible. And so a lot of people are upset about that. And maybe rightfully so. You know, not people don't have access to, at least in the US, don't have access to great internet everywhere. So
well, and also
download it all.
It strikes me as like, we're going to make our game so big you can't have any other games downloaded at the same time. We're going to take up your entire hard drive. You want to play GTA? Too bad.
Call of Duty does that almost every release. They're at like,
Yep.
they've been over a gig for a while now.
I was going to make that comparison. How big was the Call of Duty one that everyone was all up in arms about?
It's 100 plus. It's been for a while. Yeah. It's definitely becoming a thing. Has been a thing for a while. Diablo 4.
Is there a reason like they don't compress their, like, well, someone from my channel said compress your textures and stuff like that. Is there a reason why they don't do that?
I feel like Rami would have to answer that appropriately, but
Okay.
I do know the reason why it's so big is like 4K textures and audio files as well. Like uncompressed audio files. Yeah, for whatever reason, they just never have. But, Chad is saying consoles do not like compression.
Okay.
Maybe that. Yeah.
Sure.
The Diablo 4 had a big event on Thursday. I think you watched that, right?
Did.
Yeah. 90 minutes. Didn't expect it to go as long as it did.
Yeah, it went a long time.
Yeah. They announced the Server Slam, which is another open beta that's coming up on May 12th through the 14th, which will be cool.
And there's a reward for killing the world boss, so gonna have to play that, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to play that. Yeah. Funny enough, that comes out Zelda weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So for like the half of the audience that is a Zelda fan listens to this, that kind of sucks. But yeah.
Forgive me. What I missed the intro. What game?
Diablo 4. It's an open beta.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Diablo 4 is an open beta on the weekend Zelda comes out.
Yeah. They're calling it the Server Slam.
Oh, same day as SF6 too?
No, that's not right. It releases fully on June the 1st.
Yeah, that's in June. I was gonna say I thought that was in June.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I will say that that 90-minute presentation thing they did was kind of nice. I really enjoyed what they showed and like talked about there and how they went through all that stuff, and much better than the like 6-minute marketing video that they put out a week or two prior. It felt, much more, even though it was rehearsed and everything. They had like, you could see the run of show in their hands while they were talking. It was still nice to get out there and like have them talk about the game so openly. And they're doing it again, I think in May, potentially for an even more interesting one where they're going to be talking about the battle pass, and monetization of the game. So I'm sure that will, have a lot of, conversation around it whenever that gets a date and airs. So we'll look for that. I think that's kind of. Oh, did y'all see this the game that looks too real and was upsetting people?
I've seen people in chat freaking out about it.
Y'all want to
I
see
have
the
not
trailer?
seen the trailer. Sure. Yeah, let's watch it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't be able to get the audio, but it doesn't matter much.
It's way too real.
This is it. Go right here.
Nowhere near gamified enough, and it really like I don't watch like police video, like body cam footage videos for this exact same reason, because it turns my stomach to see like that. Funny thing is, like, I love gore and horror games and stuff like that, But when you make it like too close to reality, it starts becoming icky to me personally. Like that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
My biggest issue is that way too realistic camera shake.
Well, it's supposed to be like a body camera, right? So I think that's also
is it
the shake.
Blurring out the faces?
Yeah. It blurred out the face of that person right there.
What's the premise of the game? Why does it do that?
I think that's what they do in actual body cam footage. They will blur out the face of folk. More often than not. But yeah, it looks it's pretty lifelike. Like for this to be running in UE 5 is a little crazy.
This in VR would be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man. I don't know if VR headset that could do these graphics though. Also, like the recoil on the gun looks so impressively realistic. Like it's not just going up when it's firing. Like you can see it actually like as it comes back down, it goes in a different direction kind of thing. And like when he was firing up, it was going up with the direction he was going.
Right.
That's wild.
You know, maybe it might be better if they made like once you like, you know, shot an enemy, like if their bodies like disappeared or, you know, like they do in video games, that might make it a little bit easier to take. But yeah, it's honestly, it's the difference to me. And this is all like computer generated. This is not FMV, right? This is all computer generated.
Yeah.
Okay. It's unbelievably crisp and it looks awesome. But it reminds me of the difference between, you know, playing shooter video games and all that kind of stuff. And when I actually went out to the gun range with a pistol and fired a pistol, because it was just like, oh, that's too real. I sold it like the next day. Like I fired like 3 magazines through it and I got it home and I was like, nope, I can't. Nope. Too real. I can't have it.
Took her back to the pawn shop. Yeah.
I took her back to the pawn shop.
Makes sense. Yeah, so that came out. That's been the talk of Twitter on if it's if we're reaching the point of games being too realistic, I think was the big conversation.
I'm gonna be totally blunt here. That is no person's decision to make. If you feel it's too real, like that's great. Don't play it.
Don't play
but
it.
The idea that somebody would be like, nope, this is too real and no one should be able to play it. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like the Diablo devs when they said, you know what, you don't need an overlay map. I know a lot of you guys would use it, but we know better. So we're not going to put that in the game. It's like, no, you don't get to make that decision.
Yeah.
Like if you don't, like you don't get to tell other people how to have fun. All right. So like it's weird to hear people try to have discussions like that. It's like, great, you think it's too real? Just don't play it.
Just don't play it.
It's not your place to tell other people not to do it. That may pull people into video games that never realized games could be that incredible. And then that's a door to all sorts of other fun games that they were like, oh, so these game things are kind of cool. And it's like, what, are you just going to tell them, nope, you don't get to get that little, you know, intro to gaming. Like, yeah. Also, from the looks of it, that could be a great training device.
Do you think, like, when it comes to a game rating, right? Like, how do you rate that in terms?
Same way you would any game.
So it would just be mature
depiction of realistic violence. Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it would be like what's the one above? What's like the NC-17 of games?
Adults only.
Is that AO? That's what. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's for mostly just like, you know, hardcore Zeke pornography channels and such. Yeah.
Hey, now listen. I'm not you. You are yucking my yum right now, and I want.
Hey, brother, I own all those games.
Yeah. He does.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Is it
That's
AO
right, I remember
or
your
is it
porn
AO?
cave? You showed me your porn cave.
What?
I forgot. Yeah, you had to do the passcode.
I also
and you had to say like a phrase.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
remember?
He signed an NDA. He's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all did. We all did, Zeke.
We got to call my lawyer real quick. I'll be back.
Yeah. We get it. We get
No,
it.
anyway, it's funny because we look at that, right? And we go, oh man, this looks so real. Like maybe it needs this new rating. But think about showing Far Cry to someone in the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's the same premise. I mean, this is just the next iteration of games. They're still video games. Sure, they look super real, but I mean, you know, that's just based in perspective and what we're doing. It's still just a game at the end of the day. So
sure,
you know.
Yep. What else?
It's just weird that like that because I've never seen graphics that were that like close to FMV, like a full motion video for anyone.
Yeah. No,
I'm sorry.
cool.
enough to fool me, and the game they used it for is like the last game I want to play. You know, the Bodycam cop thing. Like I would much rather have that, like the you know, the closest 1-to-1 thing. You know, I would much rather have it be a porn game.
Dude, it's hilarious. The reason I just laughed is because I knew it was coming, and sure enough, there it is right there in chat. Like the person with, you can see the stars in their eyes. Think of the porn they could make with that.
I'm saying, man, VR porn was pretty dope.
Oh,
I'm sure it already exists.
Oh. Blaze says we were all thinking that. Oh, fair.
I can add to this discussion if you guys would like, or we can move on to something else. You choose your path here.
Let's get an addition.
Did you know? I learned.
Oh God.
I learned this week that Elizabeth Comstock, the main character of BioShock Infinite,
Yes, I heard this.
is her existence is the reason why we have so much Rule 34 stuff, specifically like Overwatch porn. The reason that we have all of that is because everyone made Blender profiles and animations and skeletal frames based on Elizabeth Comstock, because everyone wanted to see Elizabeth Comstock Rule 34 shit. And she's the like basis of all of that animation stuff for any Rule 34 thing that we have today when it comes to like the full-on animated Overwatch porn.
And for those wondering what Rule 34 is, do not Google that at work.
True. Yeah, she's
Also,
basically Eve for that type of stuff.
Yes.
Is there a reason that it was her and no other character?
People were horny for Elizabeth Comstock.
That's fine in and of itself. I'm just wondering, like, was there like a readily available wireframe mod? I don't know how it works, but like
no, they created it for
wireframe
her.
model that you could.
They created the whole thing
models
for
and stuff
her,
were the art. Yeah, the story was just like a joke, basically saying that you can trace that stuff back to basically being
Elizabeth
created
Comstock,
for that. Yeah. So
okay.
Like, the validity and how true it is and all that stuff is, it's just a joke article.
I think it was real. I thought it was like the Blender profile is specifically based off of her skeletal frame.
I heard that was real, but then there was like also a bunch of other things that were also, so like the actual start of it was,
was
still
different
up in the air.
Gotcha.
But what we need to do is we need to bring on a porn expert and we can have a discussion with them about the history of this. And,
maybe I heard you started a second channel. We could stream it on your second channel. Right. So if you get banned on that, you're still that right? Does that work? Oh man. Okay. Anyways, guys, there's not that much news this week. If you didn't realize, there's really not much going on.
I'll say it again. Games.
Yeah, we can talk. We can just jump into games.
Let's talk about games.
I'm scrolling deep to see if there's anything else. Oh, last thing.
Through the deep.
Did you guys see this Square Enix AI tech preview game they uploaded on Steam called the Portopia serial murder case? It comes out on today, actually. Funny enough.
I haven't heard about this at all. Portopia?
It's
negative reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
Wait, how do you spell that?
Search for Square Enix AI tech preview. That's in the title.
Or you can just do Portopia.
Yeah, but he doesn't know how to spell that.
Oh, no. My apparently my nudity and sexual content filters were flagged on it, which is why.
Oh, really? It says popular user defined tags are adventure, free to play, education, violent, and 2D. I don't know.
It wouldn't. I had to do the search and then click the little thing there.
Oh, weird. Anyways.
Wow, negative.
This is they're basically showing. It says about this software. I'll just read that. This software is an educational demonstration of the natural language processing and AI technologies applied to an adventure game, which was created and published in Japan in 1983. At the time of the game's original release, most adventure games were played using a command input system where the player was asked to type in text to decide the actions of their character. Free text input systems like this allowed players to feel a great deal of freedom. However, they did come with one common source of frustration: players knowing what action they wanted to perform, but being unable to do so because they could not find the right wording. The problem was caused by the limitations of the PC performance and NLP technology of the time. 40 years have passed since then, and PC performance has drastically improved, as have the capabilities of NLP technology. Using this as a test case, we'd like to show you the capabilities of modern NLP and the impact it can have on adventure games, as well as deepen your understanding of NLP technologies. So,
And okay, so looking through the reviews,
What do
there's
they say?
apparently a whole bunch of confusion, and they thought the game itself was going to be AI, when it sounds like it just the tech in which you interface with the game is AI. Because a lot of people are like, this is just a linear game. What's going on here? And it's like, yeah, apparently the game is linear. The thing is the natural language stuff that is they're showcasing.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many of these negative reviews actually mean anything. And by it doesn't seems like there's a lot of confusion around this. The problem is anytime you say AI these days, people are immediately going to get a bajillion assumptions. So
I mean, it can
I
cover
think this
so
is-
much. Yeah.
Exactly. It can cover so much. So it looks like it's the kind of thing where this was just not, they probably should have not called it an AI tech preview and maybe should have, drilled that down a little bit more instead of, that's not the best way
I
to
love
get it
some
done.
of the review comments. One of them,
Just marketing.
the only
yeah.
mystery, the only mystery in this game is how Square Enix expects us to advance the plot with shitty AI.
Nice. Fantastic. Great stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Anyways, that's out. So if it's free, if you feel like going and typing things to an AI, but as this reviewer points out, you can type "lick the victim," and the AI will just say, "Maybe we should focus on the task at hand." So you can't really just do completely off the wall stuff.
Well, that's like one of the negative comments is someone typing in commands and let's go to the port. I'm not sure what to say about that. Let's go to the Kobe port. I'm not sure what to say about that. Go to Kobe port. I'm not sure what to say about that. And it's just like that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't understand basic commands. And I'm talking like it doesn't understand like oh god, those old text adventure commands like go right, get ladder, or like that kind of shit. The Zork shit.
The Zork shit.
That's the
exactly. Yeah, so that's that. Not much going on. Cole, you said what was that about?
Oh, no, people just making fun of the Square Enix name.
Got it. Cole, you played Diablo too. I had to think about what they could do with that, but then got there pretty quick.
There's all sorts of fun things you can do with that.
Yeah, great. Big release this week, Dead Island 2. Cole, you checked it out. I think are still checking out. Have not finished it, correct?
Yes, I've not finished it. I started with a sponsored stream, and I thought, when I heard about the game, this sponsored streams generally are agreed upon a while before they come out.
Yeah.
So I agreed a while ago to Dead Island 2, and then like the day before I was supposed to do it, some of the reviews came in, and what I heard is that things weren't looking great. So I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to go with an open mind, and I'll see how it is for 2 hours, and I'll just kind of go from there. 2 hours turned into 3 hours, and today was day 3, 4 of playing it, and I gotta say, man, this game's fun. This game's fun. It's a fun zombie killer. It definitely has some I'd say some issues with dialogue. There's some little random, bits here and there, but and the main story is nothing to write home about yet. But I gotta say, man, the core gameplay of this game, which is the killing of zombies, is enjoyable. It feels good. There are lots of different ways to do it. The ways that elements interact with each other is fun. There's a huge variety of weapons. You can upgrade them in lots of different ways. There's even a card system that allows you to kind of filter down your play style a little bit, not hugely, but a little bit enough to, choose like, okay, I want to focus on getting my block buffed up, or I want to focus on getting my dodge buffed up. I want to do different types of kicks that affect different stats on the enemy. And I'm loving it. I'm actually having a great time with this game. In terms of gameplay, it feels very much like Dying Light 2, which, to put it bluntly, the gameplay in Dying Light 2 was the best part of that game. And yeah, it feels good, dude. It feels good. I was not expecting it to like it as much as I do.
Yep.
I was going to ask you to do the traditional gamer thing and say this game is like blank plus blank.
This game is like Dying Light 2 with better presentation. The mocap scenes and the people look great. The voice acting is actually pretty solid, but the dialogue is a little questionable at times. But it is definitely a bit more constrained in terms of like story and progression. It's a pretty like standard story so far. There hasn't been any
Linear
like
open world.
it is relatively linear, but you can go back to locations you've been. So it is semi-open world in the facet where as you progress forward, you generally can then go back to all the places you've been. Apparently, a fast travel system may open up at some point. I have not gotten to that point in the game. There are side quests, and the side quests, of course, are fully voice acted and have their own little, stories and dialogue quips and stuff that come with them. Also, generally have some pretty meaningful bonuses, which is nice. There is a map that's full of interactable environments, and it kind of marks all the interactable icons and kind of shows you what nearby you can do if you want to do extra stuff. There's, there's lots to do in this game, and it's not linear in any sense of you're forced to go down a corridor. There's a few story parts that are, but like generally it drops you in like a region of LA, like Beverly Hills or something like that. And you have like a sandbox to play in where you can just go do the main quest if you want to, but there's, also places to explore, side activities, side quests, like little hidden scavenger hunt things you can do, things like that.
Do you pretty much stay on the ground, or is there any like verticality to it?
Unlike Dying Light 2, there is almost no parkour of any kind. There is a little bit of like jumping on top of things to jump over things, but this game essentially takes place on a 2D plane, unless you're like going through a building again for story reasons. So it is that is one of the most definitive differences between this and Dying Light, is the fact that you are not running and jumping and vaulting over zombies and things like that. It is pretty much just a combat zombie simulator. That being said, they've really leaned into that. They have this thing called the flesh system, and there are so many creative ways you can deform these enemies. I mean, if you cover them in acid, you will watch as their flesh melts off their body. You will hit them enough times in their head to where their eyeballs will pop out, their jaw will disattach, and they'll just like be hobbling towards you with like a flapping jaw and like one arm that you cut off. Like that's really cool. Very, very intense system. There's fatalities and stuff that lean into that as well. And I mean, it is a
I saw it. Yeah,
it is not
your claws. You did like a visceral kill. Or
oh yeah, like if gore is even slightly something you don't deal well with, this is not the game for you.
Yeah,
at all. Like this is one of the gorier games I think there have been numerous times during the playthrough where my jaw has just dropped after seeing something.
I watched Lyric like punch meat off of a skeleton all the way down to the bones, and
you can literally chop all the meat down to their skeleton.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, I guess.
I know. It's funny. There's people on Twitter saying that other game is like, and here we are, like literally doing autopsies on screen. Like, oh look, there's his intestines and his liver.
Yeah.
Let's see what his leg muscles look like. And it's like, okay.
Well, it's not that I'm squeamish, K-Bag. It's that to call that cool is a weird thing. Like, cool, there's viscera in great detail. I guess that's cool. I don't know how to describe it.
I think the technology is cool. Like,
yes.
It's cool that this is seamless. It's cool that it works as well as it does. Like, is the actual act of tearing humans apart cool? Well, it's a different conversation. Depends on your things. But I think when anyone says something like this is cool, I would guess they're talking about
the technology.
Engine behind it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is this isn't the game that has like the customizable weapons, like you glue like a screwdriver on a stick or whatever?
Yes. So the way that it works is a weapon can get like a mod on it, and that'll add like electricity, extra bleeding, more physical, fire, stuff like that. And then there's also perks, and the rarity of the weapon is how many perks you can put on. Perks like increase damage but reduce force, increase attack speed, make it so heavies do harder criticals, things like that. So if you see this knife I'm holding is, has an electric zippy zapper going up and down it. I put that on that knife via a mod. When you just find a weapon, then you can, it generally just does whatever. They usually have like a sub perk, like some weapons maim, some weapons do extra headshot damage, some do more limb damage, things like that. And then you can mod them to have a variety of different things, which is important because there's a lot of enemies in the world. Like there's firefighters that have like the full firefighter gear on. Your fire weapons won't hurt them. There are guys in hazmat suits. Your toxic weapons won't hurt them. So, you have to be carrying around like a variety of weapons, especially as you get further into the game to actually deal with all the different zombies you're messing with.
Yeah. You might have just said this. Do they have durability attached to all that?
Yes, they have durability attached to them. Weapons have durability. They can be repaired at workbenches for a menial amount of cash. You can upgrade their durability via perks if you want to. And you can pay, but I would argue a little bit too much, to level a weapon up with you. So there are lots of systems in place to kind of make the durability. We had a discussion about this today. Where I would say Zelda has a durability system. No, stay with me.
I knew where you were going. I was right there with you.
I would say
where I was
Zelda
going.
has a durability system that is very negative to the gaming experience. The durability system in this game is finely tuned. You have a huge influx of new weapons. You're constantly leveling and getting new things. So the durability system in this game does not ever feel intrusive. You generally only lose a weapon or break a weapon if you really are just using that for like an entire level and a half. And even then, 99% of the time, you've got like 4 or 5 backup weapons that are already modded and perked out and ready to go. So
I would like to point out to anyone who's watching the VOD, when Ko mentioned durability, my face didn't change. Durability is not automatically a detriment to a game. So I waited for him to finish, and I was okay with it.
Yeah, and it's funny because we had that exact conversation today where it's kind of like durability systems are not bad. Durability systems that have poor game design and aren't well balanced are terrible.
I mean, what you described sounded exactly like Zelda to me. If we're going to open up that can of worms, it sounded exactly like Zelda.
Bro, you can literally hit an enemy 5 times and your weapon will break in Zelda. This will take
maybe if it's a stick.
Yeah.
I think we just have to skip this conversation.
Do I have to play Zelda again? That's what I'm remembering.
So getting back to this game, I do have some questions about it because this is, I mean,
good call.
This is in my wheelhouse. It's, zombies and gore and, visceral and, cool modded weapons and stuff. But also, what is the premise of the game? Is the story important enough to remember, or?
Yeah, that's a good question
or not.
I had someone who's pretty negative on it that finished it last night and said the story was kind of whatever. Do you agree with that?
So far, the story has been generally whatever.
Okay.
To be fair to Dying Light, I was pretty with it for the majority of the game, like 70% of the game, I'd say, for Dying Light 2. Like, I was enjoying the story. It was being pushed forward. Things were happening. It's only the last 30% that made me hate being a gamer. So for this game, it is much more of the story's just kind of there moving you through the zones. Like not much has really happened at all. There was like one little event that actually happened today that made it a little more interesting if they really kind of lean into it. But it really is like, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it really is like, oh, zombies, we got to get out of here. The game.
Okay.
Are there bits of funny moments like in side quests and stuff?
Oh yeah, dude, there are funny characters. There is funny dialogue. Okay. There has been a couple times I have laughed out loud at some of the stuff the characters have said. It is relatively try hard, especially with the main character. So it's one of those things where like a lot of it, if you're not looking to have fun, then it's probably going to be mostly misses. But if you're like me and you're just playing it, enjoying it, cutting up zombies, and there's a funny quip here and there, it's by no means forspoken. But it's also not like everything's a hit. There are definitely some characters and stuff that are pretty hilarious. There's a whole streamer house in this game, and they really lean into it. So I mean, like it's there's you find like these like aging rockers. Whoa, okay, you scared the hell out of me. You find these like aging.
Gotta get that alarm on the door.
I know, that lock, yeah. So there are some really funny parts in it for sure. And there's of course a lot of misses too. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
He just needs one of those things that you stick on the wall like in the hallway and it pops up on his stream, says like
child in the room.
Kid alert.
Child in the room.
Kid alert. Yeah, child in the room.
Or kid alert. Yeah, kid alert would work.
Hey, dude.
Yeah. Cuz does that happen a lot during his normal streams, chat? Or is it? I feel like that's only a Sunday thing. Maybe Sunday is. I guess the kids are home or something. Okay. Chad is saying it does happen a lot. During the
there's a lot of yeses. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I wasn't sure.
There we go.
Welcome back.
Did I miss anything?
No. We were just talking about Kid Alert, the alarm.
Cool. Oh, yes. Yeah. I need to. I'm dealing with all sorts. Like one day I'll get something like that worked out, but I also have like a super old aging cat in here, and I want him to have access, and like it's just a big mess right now.
Gotcha.
We'll worry about that later.
Yeah. For me, I have not played it, so keep that in mind. But in watching it, this is the type of thing where I'm not interested in playing it to begin with, because it seemed like that the melee is the same melee combat that I've played in every other game that has melee combat, which is it is. There's no like new take on that. Okay.
The new
I don't
take
feel
is
bad then not playing it.
No. The new take is the flesh system. It's
right. It's the monsters.
It's the way that everything kind of works. It's the fatalities. But I mean, it's like I've said on stream during this. If you're not into the base gameplay loop, if you're not looking at the zombie killing and going, "Oh man, that looks fun," that's the game.
Yeah,
that's the whole game.
Okay.
You know, that's like I'm not into falling blocks. You should try Tetris. No, just don't.
Yeah.
That's not really. You're not going to get anything out of that.
I noticed that when what was it? Back for Blood? Was that the most recent zombie game?
That was the Left 4 Dead kind of big zombie.
Yeah, but it had guns and stuff, but it also had a lot of melee stuff. And I realized that I just, for whatever reason, I can kill a billion mobs in a ton of other games and have fun time doing it. When it comes to like just the melee process of first person melee, it doesn't like click with me. I don't know what that is or what's changed or what hasn't changed, maybe is the better way to say it. I can't really get into it. So that's why I haven't dive into this game yet. And it sounds like from story purposes, if I don't like the melee combat, there's not really much else to do apart from maybe.
I haven't really seen like it took hours to get to a point in the story that kind of made me raise my eyebrows a little bit. And again, if they don't really lean heavily into that part of it, then I feel like it's going to be a kind of a, muted.
The flesh system, I think, is what they officially call it. You mentioned it. That part seems cool, to just watch a body react realistically way, I guess, to like what you're doing to it. I hope that gets applied to other genres. Like if you shoot a guy or something and it takes off that side of the body rather than just like a blood spray occurring in that part. That would be kind of cool to see in other aspects of gaming.
I see you like when you're doing that awesome like kick-ass drop kick. I see you have like leopard print like slip-ons on or something like that. Is there like do you got customizable outfits?
No, not there. There's not customizable outfits, but there are multiple characters that you can pick from at the beginning. And I picked like the Irish shit talking awesome rocker lady. So that's why I picked her.
So the MC is voiced too.
Oh, completely. The MC is completely voiced. Okay. And there's multiple different ones. In this case, each character also has like 2 character-centric perks and also a list of stats. So I picked this girl because her heavy attack does like a force explosion around her, which is kind of fun and stuff. So, but yeah, there's lots of different. I think there's 5 different characters I want to say, and all kind of works. Also, this is interesting. This can connect to your Amazon account.
I heard about this.
You can play this game with echo commands, so you can actually like get zombies' attention, and you can do different things. You know,
did you test it
using? I did not, because I saw a clip of Anthony Kongpan doing that. And he said the wrong thing, and the echo said his hometown and address. So I would prefer to not.
Oh no!
I would prefer to not do that, and I decided to decline that activity. So I figured that's probably not the best thing. And but apparently it works, and it works well. And if you're just playing it yourself at home and want to hook it up, apparently it works. There was a lot of people that were saying things like, "Man, why don't they just use a microphone? Why don't they just use this?"
Yeah.
Probably because the fact that like
Amazon
using
paid
another company's already, well, not only that, I mean, it's not exactly the easiest thing to have your whatever you say in a mic then get converted into words, work as commands, and then fire off things in your game. So I'm assuming with the whole partnership here, not only are they getting paid, which let's be real is the real reason, but now they can just have it so it's like cool. He says something to that, it links the account, it does something in the game. Like they don't have to worry about all the other junk that is associated with that. They just use Amazon's whole thing. So I can see that probably being the better reason, even though that stuff has been available in previous games just over the mic.
Do you know what the commands are or what like it can actually do?
I don't. There's a big list of them. You can do things like equip your best weapon. You can get zombies. I think you can use healing. You can get zombies' attention. You can pull them. You can say like, "Hey, you," and stuff like that, which is kind of interesting. But no, I don't know. There's a pretty big list from what I understand. So. Mixture Bill, are you sure about that? Mixture Bill? Is that true? He said you can just use your microphone. You don't need the echo. It's built into the game.
Oh,
There are a lot of things you can do with the new system, including alerting enemies to lure them towards traps, taunt enemies, switch weapons, use emotes, activating, deactivating Fury mode. Those are like some of the Alexa commands you can do.
Mixture says it is positive. I did it today. Well, that's cool. In that case, maybe I'll try to hook it up for the stream tomorrow. I'm definitely playing it tomorrow morning.
it says.
I thought 100% you had to use Echo. So, and I didn't. I like turn all that off when I stream. Great.
Yeah,
We'll try that tomorrow then. See how it is.
I'm reading about it to see if there is any difference between the two, but I would have to. The article's very wordy. So
I was probably going to play it, just like give it at least one stream to check it out. But now that if it has voice commands, like Lifeline, I'm in. I'm definitely in. Like I can't wait to tell my character to do something, and then it just does something completely random.
What? So this is GameRant.com is reporting. It says any of the common comedic things that who first get their Echo like to mess around with is also possible with this version of. I'm gonna keep saying Echo instead of the A word, so it doesn't trigger.
Yeah,
anyone.
I've trained myself to do that after more than a few mistakes.
It says we've already had Echo making constant fart noises while the player fights off zombie hordes. Name nearby restaurants to grab pizza while the player is roaming around in game. Have the Echo narrate a choose your own adventure version of Skyrim while playing Dead Island 2. Can you place? Oh, I do remember there was some sort of Echo Skyrim 2
that was
thing.
a promotion for like the 10 year or something, right?
Yeah, yeah. Weird. I guess, Zeke, just be careful. I don't know if there's a way to like turn off geographical things within an Echo.
You just have to realize that anything it may pick up on it can say.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I don't use an Echo on stream anyway. So, just in case it mishears me or something. So
yeah.
It is just, keep in mind it's a risk. But apparently we don't need to use it. Apparently, like I was saying,
if it's in the game.
multiple people in chat now have convinced or have confirmed that you can just use the mic. So
cool.
I'll try that tomorrow and we'll report back next week.
Cool. Graphically, performance, was it a good PC launch? Good console launch
it's
from
beautiful.
what you've heard as well?
Oh, yeah. I don't know about console, but
Okay.
the PC version has been beautiful. I've noticed no slowdowns. The
That's
environments
good.
are handcrafted and look great. It is a very pretty game. The fire looks fantastic.
I've heard a lot about the fire. Yeah.
Fire looks really good. It
It
spreads well and stuff. Yeah. It's nice, man. It's
Cool.
nice. You can see here, like all the environments are relatively handcrafted and look very realistic.
Yeah. In 2023, that is something to definitely talk about.
Thank you, Nick Sack, for reminding me. Unfortunately, multiplayer does seem like it's kind of an issue.
In what way?
Friend of the stream, Gathalion, said that one player would come in and it would run fine, but the second they bring in a third player, everything goes to hell latency wise.
Really?
So it does, and apparently there's some issues with saves and who controls the save and stuff like that. It's apparently not super co-op friendly currently. So something to consider if you're buying it specifically to play with other friends. I would look into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I know the late shift was playing with 3 people, but I wasn't watching closely enough to see if they were running into those very same issues. So I can't comment or add to that.
It may have just been like one of them with a bad connection. We have no idea. Just something to if you're buying it to play with friends, just look into that a little bit more.
Yeah. Did you do any co-op by chance, or were you purely single? Okay.
No, I have no friends.
Look, I get it. I understand. That if I were to check this out, it would definitely be a with friends thing to just run around these environments. But yeah, I don't know if I'll check it out single player. Yes, 3-player is max co-op to the person asking in chat. So that is the max.
Oh, wow. I didn't look for that. The diss to my channel says one important point to make too, the game does not have accessibility options.
Yes, I saw that on Twitter today. Yeah.
It's like doesn't.
There's no accessibility options for it.
Oh.
Which are a shame.
That is a rather large step back for an iconic franchise that's been 10 years in the cooking.
Yeah. Random tangent on accessibility options. On the Street Fighter 6 thing that was on Thursday, they put accessibility options in Street Fighter 6. There's an audio cue when you get close to the enemy player. It speeds up like a pulse. And so you could technically play that game. I guess technically play that game. I don't know in practice how well it would do. But you could technically play that game if you couldn't see the screen. Because it'll tell you, it has audio cues for everything happening in the game. if like a combo connected, if all of that stuff exists. It was really weird to see them implement that, but also really cool that potential, entire swath of people that could never play those type of games can play it for the first time now. So
good on them, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the immediate thing I think about though is that if it is a pulse or something, like it'd have to be real on point with the speed at which that game is played.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean they put some
that's wild.
They put some footage out of it. You can check it out and listen in.
I will definitely check that out. That's cool.
It's cool stuff. Dead Island 2 though. Anything else to add? Otherwise, just
not really,
thumbs
man.
Up? Okay.
I'm still playing through it. I will have a little bit more to say when I've beaten it.
Okay.
Do we know how many hours?
No.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
I heard it was about 15, 20 hours for campaign.
Okay. That's about what I figured.
Yeah. Which I think is fine. I think that's
about
fine.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like the proper time. I know.
Also, does seem to be a relatively significant amount of side content. Like I've noticed every map I've been in has had at least one side mission. So, and there's also other little random things you can do that aren't even missions or side missions, just exploring and things of that nature. So, looks like you can get more out of it than the main story for sure.
You mentioned the 5 different, I think they're called Slayers in game that you can choose. Is there much like replayability for that, or is it?
There's a whole lot of dialogue for the main character.
Okay.
But outside of that, it's not like you're making choices or anything.
Got it.
So, and the perks are kind of cool, but I don't know if they're like gameplay defining. So I wouldn't say unless you were doing a completionist thing that it would be a huge deal to play through with multiple characters. There's 6 total, chat saying thank you.
Okay. Oh, 6. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Speaking of side content,
yeah,
I finally finished Isshin, Like a Dragon Isshin.
Okay. Yeah,
I finished the game and I did every sub story. I didn't 100% the game because that is ridiculous, as we discussed last time.
Sure,
it would be fucking stupid. But I did. I beat the game. I did all the sub stories, every single one, and I did. I fought all the fights because there's a couple of fights you can't do until you are either really close to the end of the game or I'm not sure if it's at the end of the game. But I did a couple of after the credits rolled. So I did all of it, and even on hard, if you grind a little bit, it's kind of negligible difficulty in the game. Like the hardest stuff is like the side content, like the battle dungeons and the arena and stuff like that. That's definitely the hardest shit, like combat wise in the game.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's like it was such a joke because I would go back, like I would do some side shit, and I went back to the main story. It's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the main story now, and I'm gonna do all that and sitting there because they have four different styles in Isshin, and one of them is just gun, is just like a pistol, and you take your pistol, and it was just like honestly, it was just like tap 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 tap. All right, what's next? It was a little ridiculous.
It's OP. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it ended up like the story was good.
Did you?
And the ending was fantastic. Like the dialogue, the voice acting and stuff. It's a historical retelling of the Meiji Restoration, and the last like chapter, because there's 14 chapters in it, and the last chapter just like it ties everything together, but also it's like it's what you want from like the RGG kind of a game. It's like all these badass lines. And it's less talking and more like intention,
Okay.
It's a good way to say it.
Like I'm working for Japan. It's like, no, Japan is gonna be this, and you're like, no, and they have these badass like ending lines before they get into a battle.
Huh.
It was really cool. Like the last chapter was really
Did you,
great.
Code? Did you finish that as well? Did you both finish?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that rank?
From the sounds of it, I didn't do as much side content as Zeke did.
Okay.
But I absolutely finished it.
Where do you both rank it in terms of the Yakuza games? Like where?
I mean, Zeke, you go ahead first since you just finished it.
I would say because it's a historical kind of retelling, they have limitations on like, there's no cell phones, there's no like, buildings, electricity, or anything like that. So there's limitations there, but also there was not as much goofy shit. There wasn't like barely any like men in diapers stuff. You know, like I wanted more of that stuff. There was some kind of funny stuff, but there wasn't a lot. And or even ones that really stand out. And I kind of like, I came accustomed to like finding a couple of those sub stories that you get, you know, in the other RGG games. There just wasn't there in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but other than that, like the main, like, cause I did every sub story. And if you are a history buff, it's fun, I'm sure. I'm not a history buff. I do like documentaries and stuff like that. So I was entertained, but I wasn't like as into it as someone who is really into like, you know, Japanese history or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was some cool tidbits about, the Edo period and the Meiji Restoration and like all the shogunate or shogunate and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of cool, like, educational shit in that game that I was completely unaware of. But yeah, it was missing that goofy ass, like out of nowhere, Mr. Libido charm.
Sure. I guess that's, a Yakuza staple.
Not Shogunate, Shogunate.
Do you have any, are you selling some crystals? You got any?
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm gonna sign you to my label.
Okay.
My music label. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cole, where are you at with
for me,
Isshin?
I feel a lot of the same way. I mean, the thing is I went into Isshin expecting like a side project. I thought I had no idea it was going to be as deep and have, all the iconic characters. And I really loved seeing all the characters that I've come to really like over the course of the franchise, kind of playing different roles. It reminded me very much of like, if you really like an actor, like seeing them in a different movie. It's like the whole cast of Yakuza is actors and they're just like playing through this movie for you.
That's right.
Which is super cool. Yeah. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of weird because like it's hard ranking it as a Yakuza game because it clearly is this side thing. But at the same time, a lot of the skeletal structure is so comfortable and similar. But I wouldn't like rate it like, oh, it's better than this one, better than this one. It's a fun addendum that if you like that stuff, you absolutely will have a good time in Isshin and get a whole lot of very interesting historical context. I mean, I learned a ton from that game. I'm not afraid to say it. Like it was very educational in the time period. Like the entire time I was playing, people in chat were being like, oh, that guy's real. And he did do this. And like that guy's real. And that guy's real. And he's a real person. And he really did that. And it's kind of like, dang, okay, well, like this is actually kind of great. So
no, that was actually really neat. Like seeing the cameos, like,
yeah.
And of course, I don't remember his name in the game. God damn it. So I think it's Soji, but it's Majima is still like the best,
dude.
Still the best character and deserves more than half a game. Okay, RGG,
pale.
Give him a game.
Made him paler, and which is interesting because they made him pale because that character actually had like tuberculosis, so they made him kind of have this like sickly look to him, but like it's wild because he, the real one had a lot of the things that the Majima character did, but at the same time they had Majima really like shining through in that role as well. So it was wild how much they were able to match up the same mannerisms, the same kind of like style to these actual historical figures.
Cool.
Also, the way they tied in the real events to the constructed Yakuza flair was very interesting. That was wild how they did that.
Okay, cool.
Took some very fun liberties.
Zeke, what was your hours played on that? If you have it.
Oh, I sunk a lot of time into it. I walked away from it. I spent a lot of time like gambling and just grinding stuff. So I have over 100 hours. I have.
Okay.
Let me see. Like a Dragon Isshin. There it is. Oh, 127 is what it says.
Okay.
But I would say about 20 of those hours at the very least is repetitive shit, like playing Omaha Hold'em and doing battle dungeons over and over again to grind up money and stuff like that. So and also I fucking stupid. If I could go back and talk to myself and go like, this isn't the thing I would do with a time machine, just to let you know. But if they gave me the opportunity to go back, I would tell myself, to not do the update after they patched out the chicken race glitch, which is like basically an infinite money thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say don't update it. Don't ever update that. Don't use that update
Don't grab the update. Okay.
until you grind up 5,000 Rio, which is the money system or the money back then, Rio, and I don't remember the other one, but 5,000 Rio would get me the very last, I think, available weapon, because I worked it out. You need gambling tags, but if you just want to buy them outright, it would cost you 5,000 to get like the last sword or whatever.
Got it. Cool. That's Isshin. Talking about games playing off stream. I started playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 again on the Switch.
Get to the DLC?
2. No, a brand new playthrough on the Switch 2. I'm in beautiful 4K.
You mean okay. The
60.
Switch 2.
Man, that game's really great when it doesn't run at 30 FPS, I have to say. It hasn't been a smooth.
That's so cool. Nintendo gave you that special early look.
Yeah, it's great on the
Oh,
Switch
man.
too. It's fantastic.
Woo.
No. This is off stream. I'm not streaming it. But it's game was really nice at 4K 60. It's been a blast. I think I've put 30 or 40 hours into it. I'm right back where I was when I stopped, and so now I can't. I've been like watching streams or watching TV or something like that while grinding away at the different stories. But now it's since I'm at new story stuff. I haven't played in like a day because I have to pay attention to the story stuff now because I haven't seen this stuff yet. But very eager to jump into it. Like everyone says the moment where the twist hits, if that means something to you, Ko.
It does.
Yeah, so excited to jump into that. They've also got the big DLC coming out next week. I don't know how that works on the Switch 2, so I'll have to figure that out if that's something that I can even access. But if not, it is what it is. I think they've got like...
Oh, no, what difficulty are you playing on, out of curiosity?
Normal. I'm on normal right now.
Normal.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it, but that's definitely what I ended up on too.
Yeah.
Like that game is designed for basically total completion on the hardest difficulty.
The issue though, and I think we talked about this too, but I'm finding myself, once you unlock like all the chain attack stuff, you get a boss to like 75% HP and you just chain attack them and they die.
On normal.
Oh, so that doesn't work on hard? They just have a shit ton of HP on hard?
And they deal a huge amount more.
Well, I knew they were crazy in terms of damage. I got to a point on the hard difficulty where I would get to this enemy and it would have like this swarm of ads, and I could not kill the ads. Oh god.
I couldn't even attack the boss before the ad. Not the boss wouldn't even attack yet. The ads would kill my party.
Yeah.
Before the boss had a turn to go and kill my party.
Yeah.
So the hard, it's really cool because I like that a game as big as Xenoblade took the jump in making hard. Like you are 100% expected to do everything there is to do in that game on the hardest difficulty. And even then I've heard it's still a challenge.
Yeah.
But if you just try to breeze through the main story on the hardest difficulty, you will not.
Well, I remember that first boss you fight, the like lizard guy.
Yeah.
That was when I completed that on hard and I was like, I'm good. I just put it to normal after that because it was a pain in the ass. So yeah, I'm playing on normal. It is it's fun, but it's frustrating when I can just like get a mob to 70%. The second chain attack becomes available and then they die right after that. But yeah. So I will report back probably once I finish that, and we'll see. Next couple of months, I think I still have another like 40 or 50 hours to go. That game is like 60 hours minimum from what I have looked up in terms of single player story. So
it's big.
Yeah, we'll see. Zeke, you want to talk about Earthbound? You jumped into it for the first time. Your first time, not the first time, but your first time.
Yeah. My first time playing Earthbound. It was the game choice for Crispy for winning the drawing at the beginning of the month, and I was glad. I was really, really glad that they picked that because I've been looking for an excuse to play it because it's well beloved by a lot of people, and I wanted to see why. And I am seeing why. It's it's got a quirk to it that is undeniable. Like the story and the sense of humor in it are a little wacky, a little off the wall, but like well done and funny. Like there are genuinely funny fucking parts in this game that I did not expect. It does suffer a little bit from being from 1994, 1995, in that the JRPGs from that era, like JRPGs from almost any era, it's I just want to get to this place and I keep getting fucking attacked. It's like,
Yeah.
if I want experience, I will grind on my own. Can you give me a way to avoid this shit if I just want to go from one place to the next? But other than that, it does a pretty good job of matching challenge with where you would logically be. So if you grind up, it makes it a little bit easier. But if you just do it as a normal casual playthrough, like the challenge of the enemies is pretty decent, but not stupid impossible. There is I have to mention this because one stupid choice that in my opinion, stupid choice that they made is one of the last character that you have a full squad of 4. When you get your 4th character, they don't equip anything they have one item like in each slot, like hand, your weapon, your head, your body, whatever, that you have to find. And the weapon the guy has is a 1 in 128 chance drop from one specific enemy that doesn't reappear after you beat that area. And so I got to this area, and everybody that came in that had played the game before is like, oh, is he doing King Sword Grind? Okay, King Sword Grind. Yeah.
They knew.
Okay. And I spent an hour. I said, I'll give it a half an hour. And then they have a mechanic in the game, which I love, which I wished I didn't know I wanted when I played the previous SNES era of Final Fantasy games, was if you level up high enough, you get attacked by a monster and it's an auto kill. It just flashes red once and it goes, you've killed him. Here's your experience.
Huh.
So if you over level, you can do that. I was almost done with the half an hour that I promised. I'm only going to do this for half an hour. And I didn't get it, but the last enemy before I was going to move on, I encountered them and it went and it was an auto kill. I was like, fuck, I can do this now. Shit. And it enticed me to do another half an hour, but I never got it.
You never got it? Oh.
Yeah, long story short, I never got it. But I mean, 100, you have to get 1 in 128% chance. That's someone told me 0.07 or 0.7% chance. So less than a 1%, obviously.
You were just playing a gotcha game at that point.
Yeah, it's exactly. And it only drops from one enemy, and it's the only equipable weapon for this one character.
Yeah.
And that just seems so fucking stupid to me.
Now, Zeke, what if you could take your credit card and just for let's say $5 have a chance at that weapon?
I think that's fair. I think that's a fair deal.
Do you think $5 would be a fair assessment for the best weapon in the game?
I think 10 would probably be better.
Listen, we could probably get them to do 10 as well. How about 10? Look, we're taking 5 away. You didn't answer fast enough. How about 10, Zeke, for $10?
I probably would do that. And here I come from Montana, which has gambling machines, Keno machines, poker machines, are absolutely legal to put in any bar, and every single bar had them. And I took advantage of those, or they took advantage of me more so. So yeah, putting money into a machine and hoping to get something better out of it is not unfamiliar to me.
Yeah.
And also why I love living now in Denver, because the casinos are far away.
Yeah.
At least an hour away.
Yeah.
But yeah, that notwithstanding, the game itself is it's weird. It doesn't
weird.
It doesn't explain itself or it doesn't explain
anything.
I mean, no, it follows a reasonably linear path. Most of the characters in it are they have they're a little quirky, but within standard operating parameters. But then you come across a village of faces on like heads on feet.
Yeah.
Called Mr. Saturn.
Yep.
They're all called Mr. Saturn, I guess.
Yep.
And you don't know why, and you don't know what they're doing there, and you don't know why they talk
great though.
Like that.
In that area.
Yeah, the music is awesome.
Yeah.
No, the music. Oh, that's another thing I would love to hit on. But you encounter these weird characters all the time, and weird like places, and they don't really explain it. They don't explain why they're there. Like, are these aliens? Or are these just like undiscovered? Like, no, you just have to accept it. It's one of those like Kojima things. Like, don't bother asking why. Don't. It's just a exercise in futility. So that's what keeps me coming back, though, is that it's hard to know what to expect. Yeah. And I dig that. I really do. The music in the game, though, is a huge standout. It is really, really good. Very well composed, very well done. Different. There's like from one track to the next, there's a lot of different like theme and style changing, which I absolutely like serves to it gives you variance in what you're listening to at all times. Like from one area to the next, it's just a complete genre change.
Right.
And I love that. I absolutely love. There's many bops in the game.
It's got good music.
But the other thing is that this was not my first time with it, but I saw it in a recent indie game. I was like, oh shit, there's like the HP rolls, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's from Earthbound. I went, what? The HP, like when you get hit, it doesn't take it off your HP immediately. It rolls down like a counter. So if you move fast enough, you can limit how much HP you lose. There are some enemies, just for an example, there's some enemies in the game that once you beat them, they explode for enough damage to kill you immediately. But if you mash through like the dialogue or the menu or whatever of the battle,
yeah,
if you mash through it fast enough, you limit how much you actually lose because the HP is ticking down and it's not just off immediately. So that was a cool mechanic that I didn't know that Earthbound was responsible for.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, this game was it shaped a lot of video games today. At the bare minimum. Yeah. The upsetting part of this is I can remember 30 years ago being at Blockbuster when this game came out and renting it. But I was so fucking confused as to what I just rented because I had never like played this style of game at that point. I was like, oh, let's play some. I like the Marios and the Sonics. What is this? Why are there numbers? I have a sword. This is kind of scary. Can we go get a different game?
You have a bat. Let me just be clear.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's been 30 years. The game starts out and you're like in your attic and you see the UFO or something, right? Is that correct?
You're in your room. Your room is upstairs.
Yeah.
Funny, in your house there are only a couple of rooms. Your parents don't get a room. You and your sister do.
Okay.
There's no bathroom in your house. As you can see. Yeah. It's very, very Spartan lifestyle. But you see a meteor, you go and check out what happened with the meteor.
Yeah.
Yep. And you find out that you are the chosen one who has to collect. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to say it because it sounds like a stream of consciousness with no actual direction. Yeah. It's like, okay, a meteorite comes down. You find out you're the chosen one. You have to collect songs on this stone that you have. You have to collect 8 songs on your stone. And then you meet these guys who are just like naked heads on feet. And they talk real weird, but they do have like a bow in their hair sometimes. And then you go to Dinosaur World. Woo! It's just
fever
weird.
dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Earthbound.
But I will like there was the one Moonside is the first really like super trippy part. you have to go to like opposite world, and it's like everything is changed, and it's like all black, like background is all black, and all like people are talking funny. It's like everybody there is on drugs, and yeah, it's like a puzzle. You have to figure out how to get to like to the end of the level, and that was a real trip. And I will say, as good as some of the music is, some of the music, like, you're like, oh man, this is pretty funny. This is great. And then after like an hour, you're just like, I fucking need to get out of here. I will destroy things in my vicinity if I have to hear this fucking song again.
Yeah. I mean, they were limited to what they could do, on the SNES.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, no, I'm absolutely loving it. It's fun to see how many people come in. It's one of those games that people come in, it's like, oh my god, this is my favorite. Like
it's
lots
beloved.
of people throughout the stream come in, like, I can't believe you're playing this. This is so great. And I can see why. I really can, because if I played this when it came out, it would be 15 when it came out. So I might be a little bit older, but like still, this would have blown my mind a little bit that of how little sense it made.
It's a strange game. I mean, even today, it's a strange game.
But yeah, I'm not done with it yet. I'm continuing it on Tuesday. And I guaranteed the winner of the drawing, I guaranteed them at least one stream. And after that stream, I was like, I'm going to keep playing this because it's fun. It actually it does move along. It's somewhere around 30 hours, someone said. But it does, like, you do get, like, you feel a sense of progression for sure. And there's little like fun puzzles to figure out, or not necessarily puzzle, but like mysteries, how to get to the next place. You have to piece together the clues, like, oh, I saw this guy over here. And then you go to that guy and he's like, oh yeah, but you got to bring me a potato if you want to, move on. And it's like, you bring him the potato. He's like, no, not that potato. There's a specific potato that I want. And you're like, oh, okay. So, but it keeps you moving.
Yeah. Got to get the potatoes. You going to play Mother 3 after this? Is that where you're headed?
I don't know. Like, the only way I think I'd be able to play it is I'd have to get a Japanese copy and then play it on an emulator or something.
Yeah.
In English, because it's not in English, right? As far as I know.
I think there are some like translation patches, but yeah, I don't think it's ever come. There's no English release of it. So there's probably translation patches though.
In order for me to like play it, as a streamer legally, I mean, have to own the console and the game, and then you can emulate it and no legality problems.
Kinda.
Not really.
That's your best interest.
Say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really how that works at all. But
it's your best interest. Yeah. Look, just don't put it on YouTube. Nintendo doesn't know that Twitch exists yet. We're fine here.
That's right.
We're just don't put it on YouTube.
No, I don't. There's no way to like get it digitally, is there? I'm asking. You know what? That's a question for my chat. I'll ask later.
Okay. There you go. Cool. That's
to buy it. I mean, buy it, purchase it.
Yeah. I don't think there is off the top of my head, but I haven't really looked into it. I played a little bit of Mageseeker, which is the newest game from. Is it Riot? What are they calling their Riot Foundry Forge?
Like Riot Indie or something.
Chattels. Yeah, it's Forge. Okay, it's Forge. It's Riot Forge. That's what
Riot Forge.
It's what the Ruined King came out under, and I played that. Loved that. It's also what they have, like a rhythm game on the Switch that they've published. And there's like 2 or 3 other ones that haven't been released yet. But anyways, this is the Mageseeker. It's good. Right out of the gate, you're probably looking at this and thinking, God, that camera really sucks. Because it moves around constantly, and that's part of the game. It sucked for me for about 10 minutes, and then it didn't bother me. But those first 10 minutes, I was kind of like, man, this is making me a little sick. Like it's moving around a lot. The way that it controls, I was using a controller with it. It's what the devs said to use over mouse and keyboard. They have mouse and keyboard controls, but they said controller is what it was preferred. So went with that. In terms of what this game actually is, doing the thing that Zeke said, the gamer thing where you relate it to other games, this is basically Hades Kirby.
Wow.
So it's Hades
trying to picture
style
that.
action game, right? But it's Kirby because you can steal your enemy's powers.
Okay.
And so there's the other thing, there's no voice acting, which I think is a big miss. Rune King had like half and half voice acting. And I want to say they went back and added more after the fact, after release, but there was voice acting somewhat in Rune King. This has none. And I think that's a big miss. Apparently the devs, these are the devs that made another indie game that I think you might have played. Chad will tell me what it is soon. Artistically, it's similar.
Moonlighter?
Yes. Did you play that? I remember you.
I think I played a little bit of it. I don't think I played too much of it.
Okay. Well, this is from the devs of Moonlighter. And I had a great time with it. It's about 15 hours long. I did not finish it. I'm about 2.5 hours in. Combat wise, this is a boss. There's a lot of bosses in the game, especially if you know League of Legends characters. Those characters show up. It takes place in the world of Demacia, so think of all the characters in that world: Garen, Lux, Morgana, those type of folk. If you've played League before, you know those names. They all show up in one way or the other. You play as Silas, who's also a character in the League world. His whole thing is that essentially Demacia hates magic. Silas is a magic user. He was thrown in prison, and he has these chains that can steal magic from other people. That's how he got out of prison, and he was tortured and whatnot. It turns out Demacia people are kind of assholes, and so he wants to get revenge and kill them all. And that's the premise for the game. He does just that. You're murdering people just nonstop throughout this. I'll try to get some combat stuff here so you can see a little bit of it. But it's got a fun flow to it. Once you like get into the combat, you can unlock 4 spell slots, which you can choose what spell slots you want. There's like an elemental wheel. So like fire counters ice counters fire, that type of stuff. Wind counters earth, blah, 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 blah. All the normal stereotypical elemental counters. You use that in combat. So if like an ice mage shows up and there's a fire mage also on the field, you go over, steal his fireball, use the fireball on the ice mage, steal the ice mage's frostbolt, use the frostbolt on the fire mage. And that all happens in like 2 seconds. It's very, very fast paced.
Okay.
It's just like kind of nonstop action when the action's happening. Zeke?
How did you get hip to this game?
It's just, I mean, 1, my wife works at Riot, so I knew it was coming out. 2,
right.
It's just a big release for like Riot Forge. They reached out. Came out this past week, I think. It is $30. It's $30, which is kind of what they're charging for most of the Riot Foundry stuff. It's about 15 hours of gameplay from what I was told. I don't know how much replayability there is. The story is definitely the main focus here. I think the biggest criticism that a lot of people have, or maybe hurdle's a better word, you either hate this art style or like this art style. A lot of people are like, they feel very strongly one way or the other. And so I think that's maybe the biggest hurdle for this game for a lot of people. Is like, God, I really don't like how whatever that art looks. Or, man, I think that art looks cool. And I think that's probably the number one comment I saw about it is people after that asking like, what is this style of game? And Hades Kirby is what I settled on for that. So it worked out. I've chosen all just like reading stuff. I want to show actual combat. The combat is so fast paced that I can't even like show it. Is this combat? That's a boss. Here we go. Here's a little bit of the combat. So that's a wind mage. I have ice. See that little line? You can basically just like zip around in the game to any fighter at any time you want. Controls take a little bit of time to get used to. It's the right stick for the chain to target, and then you hit right bumper to like pull yourself to them, but you hit left bumper to steal the magic. And so it takes a little bit to get like used to that. And you kind of have to like claw grip the controller in some way to do it, but it's a good time. I kind of want to go back and finish it. A lot of people didn't even know this game came out, and so viewership is reflected as such, especially with Dead Island. I think that's dominated the new game arena this past week. So viewership's a little bit low on it, which has got me not necessarily super eager to get back to it. But yeah, that's Mageseeker. Short and sweet.
Yeah, it was put on my radar by my Discord game suggestions channel, and I took a look at it. I can't remember if I put it up yesterday for voting.
Oh, for Indie Sunday?
Yeah, I definitely looked at it, and I'm in that camp. I'm in the aesthetic. Like, it's not really my kind of aesthetic.
Yeah,
I would say it's and it honestly, it's because, like, I even said this yesterday, not in relation to this game, but like, I don't like games that rely heavily on pastels. You know, like light blues, light green, like Easter colors. Like,
so you don't like Easter, is what I'm getting from this. Not a fan of Easter.
No, I do not.
All right, noted. Cole, you have any intention of checking this out?
Not too much. I mean, I saw this game and it looked kind of interesting a little bit, but the thing that I really asked myself is this doing anything a lot different from other games like this I played in the past? And the answer was not really. I mean, if I was a big League of Legends fan, like, I'd probably play it for the lore alone.
That's where it got me. Yeah.
As somebody who's not really going to understand many of the characters or situations or stuff, it just seems, you know, I'd rather spend my time on other stuff. Yeah,
I think the biggest pull for me was the League aspect of it. If this was not a League game, probably wouldn't have even checked it out. More interested in the lore side of things, because it is. I think they've told this story of Silas like 30 different ways at this point, and so a lot of people were put off at that as well, that they didn't like continue the story of Silas as they have told it multiple times in video form, music video form, character form, blah 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 form. But yeah, it's out. It's a little steep, $30. Like I said, that's maybe my biggest hurdle in terms of recommending it. Is $30 is a lot. So that's Mageseeker. Where are we going now? Co, what else have you been playing? What do you want to talk about?
Wartales.
Yeah, I saw Strippin was playing a lot of this in his
Subathon.
Subathon. Yeah.
I'm playing more Wartales tonight. It is phenomenal. It is basically all the stuff I loved about a game called King Arthur, but it is in a more sandboxy environment with a lot more customization in terms of your team and what they can do. Tons of different things that can happen, tons of different ways to approach different things. Lot of choice and options, not only in build and loadout and your party spec, but also in like where you go and when you do it. It is overall a phenomenal sandbox, turn-based, XCOM-like game. It is very, very, very fun. I've been having a great time with it.
So absolutely. Is this the 1.0 release of it? Because I had heard about
Yes.
this game before. So it's the 1.0. Okay, that's why
just at the 1.0. That's right. That's exactly right. And the 1.0 is pretty great. There's a few little bugs and a few little design decisions that I think are a little questionable, but outside of that, it is 98% just awesome. Having a great time with it.
You said sandbox multiple times. Is there like a core story to this, or is it the type of game where you're creating a story by how you play, or like how does that work out?
A little bit. The way that it works is you have regions, and then there are story events in the regions where you're sometimes given some decision making in terms of like what side to take and things of that nature. And there's like as you complete story elements in a region, a bar fills up with like, you know, if you've completed that region. And then as you do, you can go to like different leveled regions in different parts of the world. Apparently there's more than a few regions. I'm only in the second, and I've been playing this game for a good while now. So it's a big game for those that want to do all of it, for sure.
Yeah.
Good value for the price.
How much I'm basing this off of gameplay I've seen here and the gameplay I've seen on Strippin's channel. How much like do you spend in this type of gameplay, and how much do you spend in the overworld? Is it pretty even,
almost half and half? It kind of depends on how you play. I mean, if you want to just get a bunch of contracts and then bounce all between them, you know, you're going to spend a lot of time in combat like this.
Those are like the bounties or something that you get?
Yeah, there's like all sorts of little procedural missions you can pick up. Or if you're like me and you like to do like a bunch of procedural missions, I get a couple and then I go out and do them and then I truck my ass back to the city to turn in and resupply and then get a couple more, go out. It's basically that how much combat you do in a percentage based on total gameplay is very dependent on how much you want to do, how much you want to farm or how much you want to travel and things of that nature. You can kind of set that yourself.
Got it. Itemization. Is that a big draw for you? Like the fact that you can
Itemization?
get
Oh yeah.
rare items and
you can
are there
craft,
unique
you can get
items?
unique. There are unique items.
Okay.
Yes, there are items that are like there's only one of them, and they may have like a special ability or a special action. And there's not a huge amount of them, but they absolutely are in the game.
Is it based off of any rule set or is it its own?
Nope, all its own thing.
That's cool. What's max level? I saw like
9.
Okay. Is there any?
Which is a little weird because I'm like level 5 and 6 in the second region, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work.
Is there? Do you know if there's like?
12. Chat's saying 12.
Oh, chat's saying 12. Okay.
Oh, great. Okay, why did somebody told me 9 before?
Is there like post level progression? Like after level 12, can you do other things after that, or is your character pretty much set in stone?
I have no idea.
I guess if you're
paths are capped at level 9. What? I don't even know what that means. Okay.
Wait, paths are capped? Is that what you said?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. How do you spec out all of your characters? Is that how that works? Are you like hiring them all or what?
Yep.
So
each
these are all
character
unique characters? They're not pre-made?
Basically, no. They kind of randomly get generated in inns and such, and then you can hire them and you can change a name and generally level them up. So there's there's base classes that then go into specializations. So like you start with a ranger, and then a ranger can become like a person that gets better at backstabbing, a person who has a disengage utility, or a person that does poisoning. And same for if it's an axe user, like one of the aspects is like a shield and kind of a defensive ability. One uses like a big 2-hand and has like a rage ability and stuff like that. So there's lots of variants and there's lots of different types. You can of course double up on ones you like as well. So there's a lot to choose from, and considering your warband can be like, I think people were saying like 20-ish people. You can also have animals, and you can have slaves, and you can have all sorts of stuff.
That's 20 people into like one fight?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Versus like another big amount of people as well. So there's a lot of variation in terms of how you can spec out your warband.
How long do those fights take? That 20 on 20 is like
you can speed up the animations. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. They can take 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes longer if it's if you're thinking about all the moves, in which case a lot of times you have to.
Yeah.
So it's a thing for sure.
Huh. Okay. Would you say the D&D fans check this out? Is it kind of that style of stuff?
I'd say XCOM fans kind of
XCOM
thing.
fans.
It's a tactics game at heart. So a tactics sandbox adventure kind of thing. So that's where I'd really say it shines for sure.
Okay. Yeah. And it is the reason I bring up Strippin is because he played primarily multiplayer, where you're playing purely single player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the multiplayer experience for it seemed fun because Ko just said it's a tactic game, but your friends can go whenever they feel like and kind of fuck over the fight. So you have to think tactically about that or not. And that's created some fun like co-op experiences from it.
Or they won't think tactically about it, and that's a huge issue.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. A little bit like Divinity Original Sin. I'm seeing that kind of thrown around in chat in terms of the co-op aspect, not necessarily the game aspect. How much are you having to like micromanage outside of fights? Are you like, do you have to worry about food? Do you have to worry about like all of that stuff? Or is it just going from fight to fight?
Oh, no. So there's a whole camp that you have to kind of like build up and research. There's an entire like knowledge point system, as well as a victory conditional point system that also has its own unlocks. So there's a lot of customization in terms of how you do that as well. There's also like a whole food system where you have to learn different recipes. There's also a profession system where people are like a fisherman, a cook, a craftsman, a woodworker, and those add different bonuses as well. And you level those professions up too, using a lot of times little mini games and things like that. So there is a lot outside.
Sounds
of
dense.
Tactics. It's dense. It's packed full of stuff for sure. This game is packed full of things to do and see and travel to and things of that nature.
What is it? What does it cost? It's 25% off right now.
$26 right now, yeah.
On Steam, yeah. So originally $35, $26.24 on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Recommend it?
Very hard recommend.
Hard
Yeah, if you
recommend.
like tactics games, this is a game that you definitely want to check out. It's a huge amount of fun.
Okay. It's dense but not overwhelming, thankfully. That's
Mhm.
cool. That's cool.
It introduces things relatively slowly to you as well. So that's kind of awesome.
How's the difficulty?
I'm playing on expert, and I've been doing a lot of farming, and I've only had like 2 distinct times in my expert difficulty that I have like one time I did end up my computer mysteriously crashed. It was very strange.
Ah.
Yeah, and that was a time where I took an easy mission, and the threat that I was going up against seemed way out of my league, but I was like, "Oh, well, the game wouldn't have said it was easy if it wasn't." Yeah, it turned out it wasn't. And like literally one of the enemies just like one shot one of my best guys.
Oh, and you
Basically
could just
one-rounded him.
run into that stuff? Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I knew when I was going in, the game warned me a little bit. It's like these guys are level 7, they're like way out of your league, and it's like you're level 5 or something. It was a big red level 7. But again, I thought the game marked the mission as easy. So I was like, I'm sure it's just a, graphic thing, whatever. That sucked. And then another time is I camped out next to guards. And the guards, like there's guards that patrol around the map. And I was wanted because I did some thievery. And there were some guards near me. And I was like, well, okay, I'm just going to go to bed because if the guards come over, they're just going to say what they usually say, which is, oh, you stole some items. You better give us all the stolen items and we'll let you on your way with a small fee. Like,
Yeah.
cool, whatever. So I went to bed. And what I didn't know is that the guards interrupt you while you're sleeping. They do not give a flying F if you have stolen items. They will kill you. And I did not know that.
they just stab you?
So, they start combat. It goes
combat
immediately into
starts, okay.
combat, and you're going up against things that you cannot touch.
Huh.
And I ran from that fight, and they ended up taking 2 of my guys. 2 of my guys got captured, and then they just took them right off the map, and I never saw them again, which was super unfortunate. So, I feel like those situations were a little like you kind of just have to deal with them. You have to just get through them, which kind of sucks. But yeah, it's outside of that, the difficulty has been pretty good. I'm playing. I played on normal first for a couple hours, and then I was like, I can tell I'm gonna love this game, so I restarted on the highest difficulty. And the highest difficulty feels good. It feels good. There's no question I have a lot to learn about the tactics and ways I can do things better. Some of the skills I'm not using as much as I should, and I need to implement better ways to do that. But yeah, the difficulty feels great. It's the beautiful part about it is it's very similar to Elden Ring, where if you get to a point where you feel it's challenging, there's so many other places you can go to keep progressing. So like you can go farm missions, or you can go level up here, or you can go do this main story mission. And it very much is, it doesn't force you down any particular path. It's very much up to the player to make that path.
Are the maps
So the sandbox element is strong.
Are the maps procedural, or is it
No.
everyone's on the same map?
Maps are the same.
Okay.
Maps and locations are the same. The little procedural elements are kind of like who is where, like there's traveling merchants and who shows up in your tavern you want to recruit, and they're all have random perks and skills and things like that.
Forgive me if you already went over this, but is there like mages?
Yeah, I was about to ask that. Like,
so
what's
the
fantasy?
There's not
aspect of the
clerics, there's not mages, but there are things like ghosts and crazy creatures and things like that. So it's like light fantasy, but you are not going to be hurling fireballs. You are not going to be casting heal spells. So it's a little bit different in that regard.
Can you like craft potions, or can you heal
Yes,
in combat?
you can craft medicine. You can craft medicine. You can make bandages. There's like a first aid skill, things like that. But everyone is kind of either a damage dealer or a defender. Essentially, there are some light support classes, but I mean everyone's going to have weapons and everyone's going to be able to use them at least relatively effectively.
Is there enough like differences in the class, or how about this?
Low
Are there
fantasy.
classes?
There you go. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's not only everyone starts as a class, and then those base classes generally have 3 specializations. So there's a large amount of variety in terms of that, and then each weapon dictates the character's attack abilities. So you can have different classes with different specializations. There's a light tree. Like generally every few levels you get to pick from like either 2 or 3 abilities. So you can kind of, funnel different characters into different roles, which is cool as well. So, and then apparently there's like even a hidden spec thing, but I haven't seen those at all. I don't know how that works, and I haven't gotten to that point as well. So there may even be like 4 per class or something.
Huh.
And
there's a lot of customization.
I saw you doing lock picking earlier. Mini games? Question
There
mark?
are tons of mini games. Fishing is a mini game. Mining is a mini game. Woodcutting is a mini game. Lock picking is its own little lock picking thing. There are lots of little like click here at the screen at this time kind of things.
Nice.
Fishing is like an actual little fishing mini game where you have to hold down the mouse to make sure something stays in the middle of something. They absolutely could have made all those areas just right click to collect the resource, but they actually made like little mini things for all of them. So credit to them. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Blacksmithing, especially, is like a super tightly timed mini game, and if you do it right, you get much better items, which is kind of fun. So.
Oh, is that a? Oh my god, that's a save scum.
Yeah, that's safe scum
Paradise.
material right there.
little bit. I haven't been doing any save scumming for that stuff, and I've found the progression is still really smooth.
Have you hit like whatever the best craft is for a blacksmith? Like, is it a big bump?
Well, it can be like, and the thing is even if you nail like the way that it works is there's generally like 4 sections of the anvil, and you have to click each one at the same time. If you get all 4, you're guaranteed a good thing. But then even if you hit all 4, there is then a chance it will be even better.
Ah,
So it's like there's RNG on top of skill.
cool.
So it's definitely a thing.
That's
There's
awesome.
also like a full tomb exploration mechanic where you have torches and you have an amount of light and you have to like move through tombs and solve little puzzles and do different things using a scholar subclass. And
Wild.
there's a lot to this game. There's a lot to this game.
Yeah,
And
it seems like it was
very, very addicting and enjoyable.
Seems like it was cooking in early access for a while. Because I feel like
A
we talked about
good
this-
example of an early access game. This
Yeah,
and
like
Everspace 2 are great examples of early access games.
Trying to think, it'd been like a year, I think, since you had played it, right? Like it's been in.
Oh, I only played the demo, and I
Oh,
barely
okay.
played it. Yeah, I never gave this game a huge look. No, I was always kind of saving it for 1.0, and I'm kind of glad I did because it's been a bottomless pit of interesting things to learn and things to do.
Yep. Cool.
Can't wait to play again
Then-
tonight.
Oh, it's definitely.
Wartales.
I wish listed it, and like since I finished Yakuza or Isshin, I've been looking for another like game to plunk some hours into, and this looks like a good candidate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's done
Oh yeah,
pretty well on
It's-
Twitch as well.
It can be big. It can be big.
Yeah. It definitely pulls in. People might be interested in watching that. It's not like the latest and greatest Zeke, so could be something to stream if you're interested at all.
Okay.
Zeke, what else have you been playing besides Earthbound? What's been on the old Zeke
Well,
channel?
just real quick, you remember the King of the Castle like Twitch integration game that I was playing?
Yeah.
They dropped a new patch for it. Which has a quite a few fan asked for, and even me asked for quality of life stuff. They revamped like the tax system in between seasons. The king can choose to tax a certain faction or something. They tweak that, completely change that, and it's a lot better than it was before.
Nice.
And there's lots of like content updates that are on the way and stuff like that, and it's just a lot of fun. I enjoy anytime I have a couple hours, at the end of a stream, if I feel like switching games or whatever. It's been a good fallback for me, and it's just super fun to play against chat, and actually they have it feels very versus. It's not necessarily chat versus me. It is, but it's also chat versus chat. Like there's factions that only one can win, and it's really really good. And I can't wait to see what they come up with, like the more stuff they come up with.
Yeah, that's cool. They're still supporting it.
I finished Dredge.
Yeah.
Nice.
A little while ago. I loved it. I love the ending. I wanted like people were like gaga about that game for a while, and I played it and it was fun, and I actually did get to see like I think there was 3 different types of endings. 2 of them were very similar, but 2 of them were the other one was really different or whatever. So I got to see all the endings, and I wanted more of that like throughout the game. Like I wanted a little bit more of that kind of it was a little bit of epicness to it, and it just like they saved it all for the for the final part of the game.
Yeah.
It was a fun like fishing game, I guess, up till that point. I didn't do. There's a couple of side quests that I missed because of they were timed or whatever, so I didn't end up doing those. And I was close to the end anyway, so I was just like, let's just go to the end. Let's just get to the
I
end.
was the same way.
But it had. I mean, it was a great game for what it was, but I think they could have done a bunch more with a certain aspect of it. But the plot all came together at the end, which I liked. But I wish there was more, in the middle or in the beginning, middle, before the end. But yeah, I liked it. How much was it? I don't even remember how much it was.
Not very much.
It wasn't that much.
It's under 20 if I recall.
Dredge is
Yeah,
$25
$25 bucks.
Oh, it's 25.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
$25
on
bucks
sale.
for 12-ish hours, 13 hours, something like that. It was good, and I'm glad I played it, but it was just barely like good enough that I wanted to finish it. I wasn't like over the moon about it. But
Cool.
so I finished that one. I did a lot of indie games. Let me see. There's one indie game that I just played yesterday that I continued off stream because it's just a fun, relaxing little puzzle game called Forests, Fields, and Fortresses. It's a puzzle game with Tetris blocks of like rivers, forests, townships, little things like that, and they have like two different styles of playing the game. There's the puzzle element and then the adventure element. Like the adventure part, you can go as far as you want. For the puzzle part, there's like a set amount, and you just, I completed all the puzzle ones last night, and there's some strategy to it too. It's deceptively simple looking. It reminded me a lot of Dorf Romantic, if anybody played Dorf Romantic.
Yeah.
Except it had the one thing that Dorf Romantic, this has the one thing that Dorf Romantic was lacking, in my opinion, which was like a strategy puzzle element. And like you see, like there's the special buildings, there's the one with like the gold tree that you can see. There's boats on the lake. There's those little like obelisks or whatever. There's the fortresses and stuff like that. All of them have certain conditions, which you have to like keep in mind as you're building it out. In order to gain gold. Gold is basically the point, or the how you continue beat the level. So if a fortress is on shares of plains with houses with a village, they get 6 gold. And then for the next village you put in that fortress's domain, you get 2 gold, or 4 gold, and then 2 gold, so on and so forth. But you can't have 2 fortresses on the same like plains, because they will just fight each other, so you don't get any gold for them. And it's like that. It's like there's little rules as you go along, and figuring out how to gain gold while not, like, there's been many times when I put down a fortress and it gives you a little symbol. See that little sword symbol, like cross sword symbol?
Yeah.
You put down a fortress, you're like, fuck, that shares a thing with this guy. God damn it. And then you start over again. And you unlock stuff as you go along. I'm not that far in unlocking the stuff, but you get like certain like one-time use abilities, like rewind that move, or put 3 houses on random squares or stuff like that. So that's it's just a relaxing, chill little puzzle game, and I absolutely loved it, or
Nice.
am still loving it. There's another one that I played that was actually very, very similar, in that it's a dungeon game with Tetris pieces as well, but it's a different kind of thing. It's called Blocky Dungeon, is the name of that one.
No.
And it's another very like chill, charming.
Is it in the same Indie Sunday?
No. This was a minute back.
Gotcha. I'll find it.
Or a Sunday back. But you play on a Tetris field basically, and you switch between putting down Tetris blocks and being the adventurer on the Tetris board. So the Tetris board is the dungeon. So you create the dungeon as you go through it as the adventurer. And you get to like rotate the blocks and stuff like that. And there are certain like strategic elements to that too. So if there is a line that you make, you press a button as the adventurer, and it highlights the lines, like the Tetris lines, that will be eliminated. And the more lines you make, the more power your little guy gets. So you go, once you press the button, highlight the lines, your adventurer moves past the lines, they disappear. So if you eliminate 2 lines, you get a +2 to your power. So if anything has 3 HP, you can, hit it in one slice. And there are certain goals to every level. So there's the main goal, and then they have 2 sub goals, which is where the challenge comes in. Because the main goal is generally pretty easy. It's just, kill this many monsters and then you can leave. But then they have like the little sub things like extra. If you only move 20 times, you get a bonus. If you only do this, or if you don't do that. So it's a really, really fun puzzle game, but it is really kind of confusing because you can play it on a keyboard with 2 hands, no mouse. Playing on a keyboard with 2 hands, meaning this hand is the Tetris blocks and this hand is the adventurer moving around and doing stuff.
Sure.
Or you can play it like I did with a controller where you press a button and you switch between the 2. But there's been a lot of times playing this game where I accidentally thought I was on one, but I was on the other. I ended up slamming a block down in the wrong spot, and when you do that in Tetris.
That's Tetris, yeah. That's how Tetris goes.
Oh. But yeah, it's all turn based, so there's no like. That's one thing I was concerned about. Like, is this going to be like? Is it going to speed up after a while? And no, it doesn't. You actually just control when the blocks fall, when you switch back and forth and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a really fun little indie puzzle game, and it's $9.99 on Steam. Price right. So,
yeah,
I had fun with that one.
Do you know how many levels there are, or is it just kind of endless?
I don't actually. It might say somewhere, but I'm not sure. Oh wait, you got it?
No. I
thought they said you got it. It looks like every level has 4 or 5. It looks like every level has 5 sub levels, like Mario, like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. And it looks like there's at least 8 of those. So 40.
Oh, not okay. For 10, you said $10, right? Sounds
Yep.
about right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Blocky Dungeon. Got a catchy name too.
Did I talk about Crab Champions?
No, that took over Twitch for like 24 hours, maybe. How is Crab Champions? What is?
It is better than it has any right to be. I will say that.
Yeah.
Because it was Julia.
Julia is the one that pushed you over?
It wasn't last show or the show before, but Julia was like, play Crab Champion. I was like, oh, fuck. All right, I'll look it up. I looked it up and I was like, oh, this looks stupid. And then I played it like, man, it is a really fucking fun, fast-paced roguelike. It's still in early access, but it doesn't control like it is. I'm guessing the early access just means like they're adding more content to it.
Probably.
But it is super fucking fun. I thought this was gonna be like a ridiculous game like Crab what was it? Crab Fight?
The Royale game, the Battle Royale game?
Yeah, the BR.
Maybe that, or the one that's in like, no, you're a crab, you're a giant crab in the middle of a city and you have to fight like a blue crab or a lobster or something like that. And
the one that had like the super loose physics.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
a lot of crab games. A
lot of crab.
2023
genre. Crab game. Crab-like. I think.
Yeah,
crab-like. Yes.
I thought it was going to be ridiculous like that, but it is not. It is very well made. It's crisp. It's fun. It's challenging.
Everyone that played it had a good time playing it on Twitch.
Yeah, dude.
It took over Twitch for like 24 hours. Everyone was checking it out.
Definitely excited for the 1.0 release. It's because I believe it's still in early access. Yeah, it's still in early access. But the 1.0 release, I'm definitely going to be rechecking it out because I was super surprised. And if I remember correctly, I think the music is banging in it.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
really like
I do remember
yeah,
that part when I tuned in.
Yeah, a lot of bops and bangers in the soundtrack. And the other thing that makes it really cool is it's a very well done roguelike mechanics. The upgrade system and all that kind of stuff. You get to choose like what kind of build you want to make. So you move more towards like if you're a shotgunner, you move towards like shotgun bonuses or stuff that would benefit your shotgun, and then you play it that way. Or if you're better with like semi-automatic by pressing the button a lot, then you can change your stuff there. There's mobility upgrades as well, so if you want to like slide faster or something like that, there's shit like that in there for all kinds of builds.
Yeah, sorry, so one of my chat goes, oh yeah, isn't everything eventually going to evolve to a crab, or am I just stupid high? I think you're just stupid high. But there's nothing wrong with that, man. You're good.
No, I think you have it backwards. Like, crustaceans are like one of the longest lived and most like a good chunk of the evolutionary tree comes from crustaceans. So,
oh man, I feel bad for. I hope I'm not harsh in your vibe, man. You keep on keeping on. I went in to introduce some anxiety into it. Huh.
Oh no. Oh, Carson adjacent theory is a goof. It's real. I can confirm. So we come from crab to crab we return. Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
I think it all starts at crab.
Crab is.
I think crab actually comes before monkey.
Yeah, crab is crab. It's life.
Yep.
Man, sorry, that was a random comment.
That's great. Dude.
Yeah. So, did you finish all the content in this in the early access version, or did you dip out early?
No. I played it for I think a couple of hours. Yeah, it says 1.6 hours on record, and I barely unlocked anything that was available in the early access because it's at its core, it's a third-person shooter.
Yeah,
and which I'm not like super well versed in or very good at. I would say I'm below average as far as that goes.
Okay.
But apparently like looking at the hub area where you look at all like this is not unlocked yet, this is not unlocked yet, and stuff like that. There's a ton of shit that is not unlocked it seems like it's available in early access. That I think I unlocked like one gun because it's fucking hard for me. It was fucking hard. Like I died many times and barely like a roguelike. I barely came back with any, spendable points or whatever, or, upgrade points that are permanent unlocks.
Right. Cool. Yeah. Well, it's like I said, it people seem to really enjoy it. I thought it was out. The fact that it's early access and they're still chipping away at it, making more content for it is a good sign. Do you have the Steam page up? What does this run?
It's $9.99.
Okay. Seems appropriately priced then as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very well priced. And like, I would have like, if you like third person shooters or roguelikes or whatever, like it's great. Don't be put off that there's a crab in the title or you play as a crab. It could easily just be a sprite that you're like any like hero sprite.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the crab thing doesn't come into play except for the character models and the enemies.
Yeah. No, everyone that played it spoke very highly of it. So I'm glad you played it.
Like I said, it's better than it has any right to be.
That is Crab Champions. Ko, I know you played that Horizon. What?
Oh, just real quick, one last thing. Fiax in my channel said the reason the OST is banging, it's that the OST, I don't know if all or some, but made by the Monster Cat artist Noise Storm.
Oh, really? Okay.
You know Noise Storm, yeah.
Yeah, I know who Noise Storm is. That makes a lot of sense. They're good. Ko, you played the Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores.
I did.
Had your thumbnail up for that. Am I good? Can I show early VOD? Like, how spoilery is this footage?
The only spoiler stuff is towards the end.
Okay, I will show some early footage then, and we'll go from there. More Horizon. Short and sweet. Is
More
kind of
Horizon.
Yeah.
It's a whole new location, new characters, new story, some new enemies. A very, very cool finale. Probably one of the best fights in the Horizon franchise. I did have a bit of a rough time.
I saw your
during it.
tweet.
One of my
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, what happened is, I was already a little rusty, having not played it for a while, and I got to an enemy where I only have one set of armor. I stupidly was not bringing multiple sets of armor because every armor set has like a big it generally has like negatives in some categories and positives in others.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be wearing an armor set that has negative, and I'll just go ahead and spoil this for you guys, has negative plasma, which is the purple element. And you get to a point where like the iconic big enemy you have to fight has a plethora of very high damage plasma attacks. And what it was doing is I was like, the fight's super long and I was just getting one shot. One shot. And these are the types of things where like, if the enemy starts an attack and you're in the open, you die. And I tried him for like an hour. And the thing is I thought it was the last boss of the DLC. It was a huge iconic enemy. There was events coming to a conclusion. So I was like, and I wanted to finish the DLC that stream.
Yeah.
I had like 20 minutes left of my stream. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to drop the difficulty to easy and I'm going to like burn this mob down and we're going to watch the ending.
Yeah.
And then of course I did that. I burned it down. And then it was like, oh, well now we got to go to this place and do this thing. And I was like, mother. So I turned the difficulty back up and finished the game. And crazy enough, again, the last big set piece was phenomenal. Like I was a little frustrated at that point in the DLC, but it was, I mean, let's be real, it was all my own fault stuff. But the ending was like crazy good. So
worth checking out.
We did
if you enjoyed the story.
Oh, if you like Horizon, this is you got to play it. I mean, there's some major story development stuff in it. There's some great new iconic characters. There's some very iconic events that happen.
So, I mean, you kind of talked about it a little bit in terms of the difficulty you have with the boss. The first game's DLC kind of expected you to have the end game armor from the first game to go into it. Is that similar to this?
This takes place after the end of the first game.
So does it expect you to be like fully decked out, I assume?
If you're playing on the hardest difficulty, you need to know what you're doing and have decent gear.
Okay.
Yep. And well, I say hardest difficulty. I think there is a harder difficulty, like called Ultra or something. I can only set it to very hard.
You have to beat it first.
Somebody on YouTube said, you're not playing it on Ultra difficulty. And I was like, I can't go to Ultra difficulty. So I don't know if that's like a thing I haven't unlocked yet or something. I'm not sure how to get it. But when I go to my options, the only thing I have is very hard. Maybe I have to start. Oh, Ultra hard is the new game plus difficulty. So you have to start a new game, I guess.
That's kind of PlayStation's thing. They do that with
which I did not do. I'm still using the save from the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, game is still gorgeous.
God,
the new
it really
location
is gorgeous.
is very cool. Apparently there's not a lot of side missions. I didn't do many of the side missions, if any. But people only said there was like a handful, so there wasn't a huge amount there. But yeah, new area is beautiful. And again, the enemy at the end of this DLC is just mwah.
Awesome.
It is total Horizon awesomeness, and it was actually really well done. I had a great time in that fight.
I'm going to message you and drop frames because it might be spoilery, but I'm curious let me say this. Does a certain character show up in this that
Lance Reddick.
Yeah. Is he featured at
Lance
all in
Reddick,
this?
He bookends it.
So
he sends you off and he receives you when you come back. But he is not like, and I think that from the sounds of it, that was intended.
Yeah.
I will say, man, and again, this is a little spoilery, but the last thing he says to your character, knowing it's possibly one of the last lines Lance Reddick delivered in this franchise, like almost made me tear up.
Yeah, that's man.
It was tough. Like I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it because I know you guys are gonna play.
He's gonna spoil it, Zeke. Yeah, I'll put.
I'm gonna put my hand down when it's done spoiling it.
Yeah, I got the spoiler tag stuff.
So Silence in this is very much like, he's this guy who's out for number one. His intentions have been all over the place, and when Aloy comes back, she basically says this like, "You're only out for yourself. You just want to be the biggest brain in the room." And she's walking out of the room. And Silence stops her, and he says something along the lines of where it's like, "I just want to say that I couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate everything you've done." And like he walks out of the room silently. And I just sat there like, that might be the last thing we ever hear from him.
I don't know if I could play that, man.
Like holy, like that. It hit really hard.
Yeah.
Because thinking that that's like maybe the last thing we hear from him is this iconic character, like finally, like,
yeah,
blah, you know, saying the thing that we all kind of wanted to hear the whole time. It was a lot. It was a lot.
I'll take spoiler
Such a
tag
loss,
off.
man. Yeah.
I haven't gone back to Destiny since he passed, because like he's so ingrained in that game. And for Destiny, the final story mission for the season was kind of the same thing. And it just like I played it, and it what happens, and he says the lines that he had already recorded, and it fucking sucked. Like it was a huge.
Yeah.
It sucked because of what happened to, or what has happened to him, and the fact that he's no longer with us, and like that's the last thing that he. I think there's more Destiny stuff that he's recorded, but yeah, it didn't. It affected you a lot. It does.
It just hurts.
It does. It definitely sucks. So, yeah. Anyways, someone asked in the chat, and this is a good question.
Spoilers over. Yes, we're done spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers over. Does anyone know if Aloy still backseats you as much? Is she backseating?
She does some backseating, and there's some other characters that are in there that also kind of give you little tips every so often.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not God of War. You know, maybe you should try dodging. It's not like that. But sure. I mean, there's definitely a little bit of that in there.
Cool. Is it spoilers to say where it takes place, like geographically?
No, they're pretty big about that.
How's that?
Not without saying the names. It takes place in a nearby area. You do kind of fly to it, so it's an entirely new region, and everything is kind of centralized to that.
Is it cool? Like, do you get to see a little bit of like what that place would look like in the future? Kind of
a little bit. It is standard Horizon dilapidation environment kind of thing. You're not seeing like too many like big iconic past things. I mean, it's pretty much everything's been torn up and ripped up, and in this particular area there's like volcanic activity, so it's like there's lots of destruction. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. I saw it mentioned.
There are some landmarks though.
I saw, they featured some of those in the promotional trailers that they showed. I saw it mentioned in the chat. It's worth bringing up, I think, only for the fact that if people see the Metacritic for this from the user score, it's being downvoted to hell by assholes on the internet because of spoiler reasons, but of what the romantic interest of Aloy. Let's go with that. People are downvoting it to hell because of that. So
just gonna go ahead and throw this out there. If you've played through all the Horizon games and weren't it the slightest, didn't have the slightest inkling about that, you kind of may need to open the old eyes there.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
Yeah. If you were surprised, it's kind of just like
a little weird.
Don't make too many loud noises by them. They may be easily startled.
I saw it. I saw the commentary on it because they're calling PlayStation the woke station now. That's what
God, dude.
That's what they've labeled the fucking console. It's the woke station now. So
I swear, some people would have only been happy if they got to the DLC and Aloy was like, "Man, I need a strong husband to fight. I want a house, and I want him to work for it. And oh man, I tell you, where is he? I'm sick of this fighting thing."
Yeah,
just like God, man. Like, oh my lord, dude.
Anyways,
that's not even a spoiler. Again, if anyone has any, like, if anyone's played the games,
I just wanted to touch on it. So if people are like, "What does everyone else think about this game?" It's being, the downvotes are occurring.
That's the thing.
That's
the thing.
Yeah. How big is the actual DLC? Would you say?
It honestly didn't take quite as long as I was hoping. I thought there would be a little bit more kind of. Now there are some side quests I didn't do, and the area you explore is kind of big. But the thing is by the end of the game, you get a flying mount, and the new area also kind of the end of the Forbidden West. You get a flying mount, which isn't really a spoiler because there's screenshots around there about it. But the thing is
That's
like it's featured in the DLC, so that kind of brings the scale down a lot because you're kind of like the way you travel is so much faster than normal.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's a lot of the map, for instance, that I just flew over. Like I'm sure. Oh, here's when it crashed, by the way. Like actually legit crashed and wanted to send a report, which is the first time that's happened, and then the only time it happened, thankfully.
Was that like pre-release or was that post? That was just a thing.
I think that was that was I did a sponsor stream for it and played a little bit early, but that was way after that, I believe.
Huh. Okay.
I'd have to look back, but
yeah,
it definitely crashed through the DLC. But no, somebody asked in chat, is it required? Not the entire time. There are parts where the flying is required due to story reasons, but you do not need to fly around the whole DLC area if you do not want to.
Cool.
And I'd say the majority of it, like all the story stuff and everything that's super important, is on foot, obviously. So, but I mean, sometimes it'll be like, yeah, I got to go meet this person like 650 meters in a direction I've never been. We just hop on your thing and fly over, which of course shrinks the scale. So
that makes sense. Well, I guess now, since the main game's out and probably the only DLC's out, this means it's coming to PC now, right? They're gonna bring this to PC.
Oh man! First thing I tweeted when I said it to Easy is I need this to come out to PC so I can use a mouse and keyboard. There were many times during this that I just remembered how absolutely frustrating this game is on a controller if you don't like controllers.
Yeah.
Which for this kind of thing, I don't mind a controller in a game like Elden Ring or a 3D like a third-person adventure game kind of thing. In fact, I prefer controllers, racing game, that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But in a game where you have to do quick aiming, and you don't know what direction you're going to be necessarily starting in. So like something's moving really fast and you need to precision aim as it goes by. Like trying to do that on a controller is a nightmare for me. And so many times during this DLC and the base game, I was just like wrestling with that. So when I played the original Horizon when it came to PC, it was so much better playing on a mouse and keyboard. And again, 100% preferential, but this game caters to mouse and keyboard. And I'm really looking forward for this one to come out on PC.
I just want to see how good it looks on PC.
Oh, it already looks great on the PS5. It looks phenomenal on the PS5.
You were using performance mode, which is,
I believe I was.
Is that 2K? I think it's like 14 something 60, but it looks fantastic. Yeah, I want to see it full gorgeous. 4K 120 plus in 2 years whenever that gets released. I think it took 2 years for that.
It's going to be a hot minute. They want the DLC to sit and have everyone that wants to. It's a double dip thing. Name is Capcom. So
yeah,
they want every single person who is going to buy the DLC on PS5, and then they'll announce the PC port in 6 months.
Yeah, probably.
Double dipping.
Zeke, you're gonna check that out, right? You played the full game off stream, if I recall.
I never finished it.
Really?
I didn't get to the end. No. And
oh man, that game is worth finishing.
I know, and it's because of Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
Didn't come out like a week, and then Elden Ring came out like a week after, and then I just forgot it. Yeah. I honestly was like, until just now, I was like, oh fuck, that's right. I never went back and finished that.
It's worth it.
So yeah.
The final boss kind of sucks, but the story's good. I wasn't a big fan of the final boss of the base game.
I have to say, final boss of the DLC is an experience.
Cool.
Like I said, probably the best Horizon boss of.
Yeah, I mean, that's
really cool.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's some hype.
Maybe that's the game I need to tackle first. But it's always so weird, like being a part of this show. I have to constantly keep in mind, like, there's Game of the Year games that you are not playing right now. This one was from last year. You know that.
Yeah.
But I think about that. Like, I want to have, like, I want to be as unimpeachable in my choices as possible, like, for the Game of the Year shit. Because I think about that shit. You know, I don't want, like, oh, he didn't even play, blah, blah, blah game. I'm like, I can't play every game, but I try. God damn it, I try.
You're coming up on, like, 5 games that are not in your wheelhouse that you're going to have to play that are probably going to be pretty long. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. We got it's busy times ahead. Anyways.
And just in case, like, no, I will not be playing Zelda. I will not be on my list.
At all.
No,
Wow.
I have no
Okay.
desire to play it. I really don't.
Fair enough. You're going to be playing the Diablo beta then, right?
Yep.
Wait, what? Somebody said, did they not talk about the Ubisoft Division 2 Twitch stream? Division 2?
Yeah, they did a they did a Division 2 stream. They're like patching or I watched the trailer that they released from that, and I can't even tell you what the fuck they're doing. They are creating a like virtual reality thing in that game that allows you to do new things in that world or something like that are not. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I watched. It's a free roguelite game mode. That's what it was. Yes, it's a roguelite game mode within the Division that takes place in like a virtual reality thing.
Is it cool? I didn't even know Division 2 was still a thing.
Ubisoft forgot about it for 2 years and then we're like, wait a minute, we've got the Division. So yeah, that's a thing that's coming out. There's also XDefiant. Have you seen that? You know what that is?
I saw a lot of people tweeting how it's like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but needs to cook.
Yeah,
That's what I
XDefiant
saw
is
over and over.
It's the Ubisoft Call of Duty game, but it's like Call of Duty from like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And so everyone that doesn't like what Call of Duty is today, but enjoyed what Call of Duty used to be, is saying that XDefiant is really good. They've taken a lot of feedback from like old COD pros that, you know, want that style of gameplay. And they've made a fairly competent version of that. And so it's been well received. I think they crossed like 1 million folks that have played it this past week. So yeah, Xbox 360 style COD. That's a good way to relate to it.
Cool.
So they're doing stuff still.
Things and stuff.
Yeah. There was something else that was Ubisoft related too that I'm blanking on that they're making or working on. Chat, what was that other Ubisoft thing? I'm blanking. Division Heartland, Skull and Bone. No, Division Heartland's the mobile thing. Whatever. I guess it doesn't matter if I can't remember it.
A pirate game? No.
No, when is that actually, when is that delayed? Is that just delayed indefinitely?
Who knows, man?
Or is that an August thing?
Did they delay it? Dude, at this point, it's just, the whole thing is just ridiculous. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think they tabled it again.
God. Weird. Poor Ubisoft.
I think it sank, somebody said. There.
It's oh man. Aren't they doing like a summer thing? They have an event this summer, right? I think that's on the list of stuff that we're going to try to cover this summer. I have no idea what would be on that showcase, but I guess we'll get to it when we get to it. Zeke, anything else you want to bring up game wise that you've been playing? I don't even know what I've been playing much.
Let's see. I have lots of it's parsing the ones I actually like really enjoyed and want to talk about. Let's see. Oh, this is kind of a shout out, and I played it, just released. Sound Dodger 2 just released, and it's a shout out to my friend and longtime viewer. Met him 10-ish years ago, and we really hit it off. His name's One Mr. Bean. He made games. He's been a game dev for however many 20-something years, and he's a solo dev, and he made like Choice Chamber, Sound Dodger, a few other ones. But the second Sound Dodger just came out, and I played a little bit of it on Indie Day. It was the first game I played, and it's like the name says, you basically dodge stuff while fucking banging tracks play, and there's varying difficulties and stuff. It's a fairly straightforward game, but the really cool part is, well, there's a few really cool parts. The music is awesome, and it's by a lot of different really cool artists that maybe some of you have heard of via the Twitch world. But not only that, it has a really intricate and well-made level editor or level designer within the game. And I was talking to Mr. Bean while we were playing it. He was on Discord call with me, and he was telling me like, you know, some of the community has put like thousands of hours into this game, and they into like not only playing it but creating their own levels. And some of the levels like that are in the game are, you know, made by fans or you know, players of the first game, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's not necessarily my cup of tea gameplay wise, but it is very, very good audio like quality. The songs are all DMCA free as well,
Nice.
which is obviously nice for a streamer.
Yeah.
But it's I'd love to give it a shout out because Bean is super passionate about, you know, making games, and he does it all on his own and shit like that. I mean, you know, the coding and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't make the music himself. He, you know, has a team that he's, or several different artists that he's hired to create songs for the game and stuff. But yeah, it's you know, you basically control a little circle with your mouse, and you try to avoid all the projectiles coming at you until the song ends. And that the basic mechanic of the game, or you know, how you know where you are, is that circle in the middle gets bigger, and once it hits the edge, you know the song's over. Like, so it's about halfway through the song now.
Yeah.
But the blue circle in the middle will eventually meet the edges. But yeah, as far as like visually and like audio visual, it's top notch. It's, you know, really cool. And like, this is one of the easier, like, honestly, this is one of the easier levels. But the harder levels and the more like innovative levels happen later on. And yeah, and they fuck with your like perspective. They kind of like zoom in, zoom out. Sometimes they warp the game field. Sometimes they blur it and then refocus it and shit like that. There's like lens flare that you got to deal with and shit like that. So it's a bunch of different like obstacles, not just avoiding, you know, projectiles coming at you, but like trying to deal with like them fucking with you, not only visually but audioly. I don't know.
Auditorily?
There you go. Auditorily. Because they'll do like you know, pauses in the music. They'll be like and then like all the pieces on the board like respond to that. They like go forward, and then if the track like kind of has a rewind, they'll go and then they go forward again, stuff like that. So
cool.
Yeah, it's really fun game. Sound Dodger 2 is the name of it. And if you don't like the game, I would absolutely 100% recommend getting the soundtrack because it's really good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Has it got like a bunch of Monster Cat style type artists?
Yeah. I would say it's in that vein, but it does vary as far as the emotion. Like, some of them are really chill, and some of them are like, you know, driving house beats. So, and really bassy and stuff like that. So it does have a lot of variation, but for the most part, yes, it is EDM. Or EDM is such a, because it's dance music. It's not dance, but it's electronic music.
EDM works. It's a broad term.
Yeah.
Cause someone in my chat said to ask you about Wall World.
Oh, Wall World. What a fantastic game.
I played that during the demo days or whatever on Steam, and it was kind of okay.
Wall World is awesome. It basically, if you remember Dome Keeper.
Yes, that's exactly what
was a game. Yeah. Dome Keeper was a game where, you know, each round was taking place with the dome. You'd go down, get resources, upgrade the dome, that kind of thing. Wall World is like Dome Keeper 2. It is a very well balanced, very fun roguelite. There is a lot to do in it. There's like a little meta story you can work through as well. It is a huge amount of fun and a very easy recommend for me in terms of just like a fun indie game.
Also,
it's a lot.
I just noticed $5.
Yeah, and $5. Right? I know, right? Oh man,
it's $5. Don't you have $5?
No, don't you have $5? Don't you have wallets? But yeah,
y'all got wallets, right?
Yeah, it's a super cool, super cheap, really fun little game. Lots of different ways to play it. Lots of different weapons. Multiple upgrade paths, like different things you can do. There's the I have a little cameo in the game as long as a lot of other streamers and YouTubers as well. It's just fun. It's just a lot of fun.
Oh,
Very,
wow.
very
Okay. So when I played this during the Steam demo days, there was maybe like
okay.
12
here's what's crazy.
upgrades right there.
Oh, every single item, weapon, sub item, ability thing, each has its own window. By the time of some runs, you'll have like 8 of those trees that you have to scroll through to get to the end, and each one of them requires different resources. Oh, tons and then there's like passives that each one of those things can get. You can randomly find. There's the meta game is really, really well done. So like every time you die, it's one of those roguelites where
Holy shit,
you make so much progress. You make so much progress between the rounds that every time you die, it's like awesome. Okay, let me get some even more upgrades and let me go in. So it is it's a really, really well done roguelite in terms of balancing that kind of stuff. Some roguelites you get to the end and you die and you're like, oh, I don't want to do all that again. But this one, sometimes you'll find yourself like nearly dying on purpose because you're just like, cool, let's get back in. There's 3 upgrades I'm going to get. They're going to make a huge difference in my next round. Let's do this. So it's very smooth.
Yeah. Did you like pump all your upgrades into the walking? Because the walking
I was very
90%
faster.
Damn. Okay.
So I mean, there's like probably 15-ish different upgrade things you can get, and then each of those have multiple levels.
Cool.
Yep.
$5 seems pretty good.
Damn, it looks like it plays exactly like Dome Keeper. Like
yes.
Oh, it does. It is basically Dome Keeper 2.
Different devs though, right? Like completely different. Okay.
Yeah.
How do they? There's no like copyright, nothing. You can't do that. You can't like be like, this is our game, except it's on its side.
Don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. It is Dome Keeper on its side, but it is so much better that I really, really like this game, and I think Dome Keeper's okay. Like it is. There's enough difference, enough enhancement, enough extra stuff in this game where it's just like it feels like Dome Keeper 2 or 3. It took the good idea of Dome Keeper and made it, in my opinion, a lot better.
Cool.
The movement is a huge deal. The random mines is a huge deal. The moving during combat is a huge deal. Like the upgrade path is awesome and really well done. So it's just fantastic. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. That's Wall World. By chance, did either of you check out the Vampire Survivors DLC? The DLC 2 that came out? I haven't heard anyone playing that. I wonder if it's just more of the same, which I assume. It's like $1 or whatever. But I haven't seen anyone discuss that. There's also a card game, Zeke. Let's see if I can find that. Wild Frost. Have you played that?
Oh, that game was super over Twitter for a while.
Holy shit, that was so loud.
What happened?
What just happened? Did the stream hear that?
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything.
Didn't hear it.
Was it a soundbite of you screaming?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I heard you go, whatever.
My heart jumped out of my fucking chest. I opened up the Steam page to go to Wild Frost, and the audio was all the way great.
Steam, dude, I deal with that every fucking indie day, dude. Some Steam trailers on their Steam store page are, really low.
Oh my God.
And you turn them way up, and then some ones are jacked up like 10 times. So you're like, all right, let's check out the trailer for this game.
Dude,
pants shittingly loud.
You guys will have to watch the clip of that, man. I'm still recovering from that. Holy fuck. Whew, I gotta calm down. Wild Frost. Yeah. The thing that just blew my fucking ears out. What were you saying, Co? You were talking about the game, I think. Do you remember?
Oh no, I think we talked about. Oh yeah, Wild Frost. It was all over Twitter for a while.
That's what I saw it. Like Northern Lion was talking about it. But it's like a card game, Zeke. So I don't know if you checked it out. It's from Chucklefish, the publisher.
I got it for free. Someone sent it. Some dev or publisher or something sent it to me, and I haven't installed it.
There you go. Check it out. Northern Lion was ranting and raving about it.
So it must have been in early access for a while because it has like 3,400 reviews and it came out, according to Steam, it came out the 12th. So
yeah, it was recent.
Okay.
Yeah. And typically if like Northern Lion's ranting about it, then yeah, it seems like he's got something on him.
I know we only have like 10 minutes left, and I got a hard out at 4. But the only other game I would love to at least give an honorable mention to is I finally Everspace 2 came out in 1.0.
Yeah,
and,
we haven't discussed
a full playthrough of that. And that game is phenomenal. Everspace 2 is pretty great. It is basically a semi-open world space-based looter shooter. There's tons of things to do, tons of side quests. There's completionist elements. There's it's one of those, just like I feel the same way about Wartales as I do Everspace 2. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times when early access is done right, the devs like keep packing in cool features because they want the people that have been following the game for years to still be engaged. And when the final product comes out, it is just so packed with feature-rich mechanics that it just becomes awesome. Just like Wartales did. That's the same thing that happened in Everspace 2. So there's like 9 different classes. They can have random passives. There's tons of different weapons you can use. They all have RNG things. They have rarities. There are tons of places to explore. There's tons of things to do. The whole thing is voice acted, and it is a super, super awesome space experience for sure.
Yeah,
it's just great.
This is the type of game that I was like, gameplay wise looks phenomenal. It was when it went into the story, like cutscene aspects, that I was expecting the same polish that you see in the gameplay in that, but it was kind of like
they saved a lot of money on the cutscenes.
Yeah,
the cutscenes are comic books.
Yes, the perfect description. That's a great way to put it.
Cutscenes are comic books. Yep, they're fully voice acted, which is great, but they're comic books.
Okay, I didn't realize they were fully voice acted. That might help. You playing with a controller, or mouse and keyboard, or both? Doesn't matter.
Mouse and keyboard. There's a lot of different ways to play this game, and a lot of the different ships kind of cater to different specializations and gameplay types. But I've found aiming to be pretty much important in all of them. So I was precision aiming is a bigger deal.
Okay,
yeah, for sure.
How much?
With some weapons, not all weapons. But.
How much can you? Can you like play a way that you want to play in terms of like checking out your ship? You can
have like a sniper ship. You can have like a scrappy ship. You can have ships that, excel at close range combat. You can have ships that rely on devices. You can have a drone ship where you actually build small drones that then do different things for you. Every ship has an ultimate as well as passive abilities that can make them stronger. And then of course, every ship relies on weapon types as well. So you can have like, flat cannons, lasers, pulse lasers, charge up rail guns. You can have like Gatling guns. There's even cruise missiles. There's a whole slew of secondary things you can do, from like shield breaker missiles, hull missiles, poison missiles, there's a ton of different ways to play the game based on what you do. There's even a bomber ship, and the bomber ship makes it so you no longer have ammo for your secondary. It takes energy instead. So you have like an unlimited supply of missiles and things of that nature. So I mean, there's the gunship gets multiple hard points, so it does like a huge amount more frontal damage. The scout ship gets a huge bonus for weapon damage at range. So if you want to, and it's super zippy, so you can like get at range and do like big charge up snipes and things like that. It's really cool. And then of course each of those ships can have passives and rarities. So your ships, you can kind of like collect ships if you want to. You have like a garage you can put them in. And the passives can be incredibly meaningful as well. So it's there's a lot to it for sure.
Yeah. How long?
There's even an end game. Once you get to the end of the game, there's a post game with a Rift style system where you can actually like keep going and like get like super weapons and legendary weapons and things like that have unique effects on them.
Wow. Okay. I saw when I was pulling up footage of this, I saw part 82 on YouTube. How long is the game?
Oh man, I played this game a long time. I think my run, I want to say, was like 40-ish hours.
Oh, okay. Not too bad then.
Not too bad, but again, I did not end up doing everything. So I barely touched the end game. So you could easily get like 60 to 80 hours out of this game. No question. Yeah.
Got it. And it's full price, right? Like it's $50, $60.
It's $50.
$50.
It's $50, not on sale.
Is it PC only?
I don't think. I'm not sure.
Let me. I'll Google.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I want to say it's coming. It's Game Pass, which is awesome. So it is a Game Pass game.
Oh.
But I want to say it's the console version is coming out later. I don't think it's out
It does
now.
say on all platforms. It says platforms: PS5, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, more, but it doesn't say when.
I don't know if it actually has come out on that yet, but I think it's coming to console.
Okay.
Chat's saying it's coming to console. Console versions are coming this summer.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, Game Pass. So if you want to try it out, definitely try it out on Game Pass.
Yep.
I gotta say, like, I the first clip you put up, or wherever you started this video of JP, or video at, I saw you like doing a dogfight in space, and you're doing like, you're trying to chase him, and you're doing loop-de-loops and shit like that. And I played during CD-ROM-a-thon, I played Wing Commander.
I was about to
granted,
ask Wing Commander.
It was a lower res version of it, but I was just like, no, not doing it. This game, not for me. Nope.
Does it make you sick?
No, it doesn't make me sick. It's just so like, it's not like shooting ahead of you. You have to like get this wandering cursor in a spherical like environment. So like, it's not like you have, just ahead of you to look. It's you have this entire, infinite amount of directions to
you
look
are not
in
wrong.
order to fire.
And they will swarm
damn.
you. They will absolutely swarm you. So that is a large consideration in this game. No
And
question.
you do have to lead your shot in this?
It depends on your weapon. Some
Okay.
weapons you do, some weapons are laser, so there's like no leading at all. It kind of depends on how you want to play.
Okay.
The flat cannons are like giant AoE, so you barely have to aim them at all, and they'll hit multiple ships at once. So
I would hope if they are
options.
if they are technically lasers, that they, they're not far enough for light to have to take any time to travel to the thing. I would hope you wouldn't have to lead your shot with a laser.
Well, I mean, it's Star Wars style laser. So there's pulse lasers and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's
so
also
they're not
like
traveling
laser,
at the speed of light.
Dude, there's a beam cannon. You literally just get a beam that goes out of your ship, like a laser. In which case you just mouse over them a little bit, and it'll kind of auto aim right on top of them, and you're good. Yeah.
That might be the first time I've ever heard Ko say a Star Wars laser. I didn't know you knew what that was. I'm kind of.
Oh, dude, I religiously watched the first 3 Star Wars like so many times. Absolutely. And then I watched episode 1 and was like,
you didn't like Jar Jar?
I've not seen anything past episode 1. Except Mandalorian, which was good. Like Mandalorian.
Yeah, speaking of that, I finally finished that
this week.
Huge thumbs up.
Mando?
Yeah.
There's
a couple episodes that are like meh, but like for the most part, this last season of Mando, pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah,
apparently I need to see Rogue One and Andor. Those are the
you need to watch Andor.
By far the best.
Watch
those are good.
Andor is
no question.
Fucking phenomenal.
I've heard those are good.
It's fucking. You need to watch Andor. Yeah, really good. Trying to think of what else I can recommend to the two of you to watch TV wise, but I don't have much. I was about to say you should watch One Piece. Let's do some shout outs. We'll wrap up the show.
Oh yeah, dude. No, just real quick. We got just take 2 minutes.
Okay.
And tell me like how is like how are you feeling in your One Piece journey?
I'm feeling about 240 of 1,100 episodes is I think what I would say.
Sure.
It's a lot.
You're still into it.
I'm still into it. Yeah. It's
okay.
I'm enjoying it. I'm in the quote unquote good would imply that everything else is bad. I would say the best parts is what people are saying. Like I've hit the quote unquote best parts of the show. And the arc that I'm currently in. For those that have watched it, I'm in the Water 7 transitional period into the Innies lobby, if that means something to you.
Those are words I've heard before.
Those are words.
I understood every one of those words, but not in that order.
or that context. Yeah.
So it's been fun. It's one of those things. Every so often, I'll just like dabble into a fandom that I have never, like, I know existed, but I didn't like really dive in. One Piece is that type of fandom where it's like you open a door in like Monsters Inc. or something, and there's just an entire, or Men in Black when they go to the locker room and they open up the little locker and there's an entire galaxy. That's what happened with One Piece, where it's just like, holy shit, there's like this is a thing. And then you kind of just like shut the door. And that's what I do every night for about 4 hours. I'll open up the door and watch some One Piece and then shut it again. And I'm not a weeb, so I don't watch anime.
The funny thing is that's like that. Like the door is within the anime pavilion.
Not for
Like,
me. My door is multi-doored.
Street.
It's one door that just is anime and One Piece right there.
Brother, you're on episode like 250ish of One Piece.
Not a
I
weeb.
think the weeb comment's a bit copium, my dude.
Nah, not a weeb, bro. I'm not. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't watch that shit.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, not a weeb.
JP, I'm here because I love you. Your addiction to One Piece has become a strain on our relationship.
Oh man.
The first step is acceptance.
Never. God, I don't. You guys don't realize how much that fucking thing scared the shit out of me. Like I'm still recovering from the loud volume.
I watched the clip. I watched the clip.
I don't think my heart is like
dynamite.
slowed down. It was. Whew,
I
that
need
was
to
a
watch
shock.
that later. For
Let's
sure.
do some shout outs.
J-Pweeb. Oh, I like that. J-Pweeb.
I don't.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be good.
I don't like that. Go do some shout outs.
Okay. I would like to give a big shout out and thank you as always to Zeke and J-Pweeb for the show this week. It was great. Feels good, doesn't it? I will see all of you tonight for Wartales. More Wartales tonight, probably more Dying Light 2 tomorrow. We got a lot of games coming up next week, so we're going to figure out how to get all that stuff done and go from there. So as always, thanks for watching. I will see you next week if I don't see you on my channel, and appreciate your time.
Zeke, some shout outs.
Yo, everybody, thank you, Co and JP. Whatever, dude.
It's Dying Light 2. It's not Dead Island 2. Sorry.
JP. Thank you for being my co-host every week. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me at /Ezekiel_III. I broadcast every day at 10 a.m. except Monday. So tomorrow I'm off, but Tuesday we will resume our journey into Earthbound. We have, I want to say 5 of the 8 singing stone melodies that we need. Maybe 4 of the. I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's 5 or 4. So we're gonna continue that until it's done because I want to see how this ends because there's no fucking way I can predict it. I'm sure. So that's what we'll be continuing on Tuesday. And coming up, I have a list of games that have been like being pushed back and back and back because I didn't know Earthbound was gonna take that long. But I'm fully fine with that because I'm loving it. Yeah, you can find me at /Ezekiel the Third or Ezekiel_II on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Ezekiel the Third all spelled out on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you for watching.
Awesome stuff. What are we doing tomorrow? Oh yeah, tomorrow's community day. You guys so far, I think we're gonna leave it open probably till the end of tonight in our Discord. Looking at the list, the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is what you guys have voted for me to play. Second place is Not for Broadcast, which I actually saw Zeke play recently.
Game's awesome.
Yeah,
we'll do one of those. Whatever you guys end up
core game
voting.
is great.
Yeah. Whatever you end up voting, we'll play that tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we got MCU crew with me, Jesse Cox, and that Bronze Girl. I think we're watching Eternals for a watch along. That's going to be an absolute mess. Tuesday's day off. Wednesday, I think I'm doing some Warframe for like a sponsored thing. I think.
Oh, yeah. Devuri Paradox.
Yeah, we'll see what that's about. I got to build some PCs at some point between now and a time. I don't know whenever that's going to be. And then Star Wars, like everyone else, next week, we'll probably be talking about that heavily on Drop Frames. So we'll try to find a guest. Do you guys got any hot ideas for a guest? Talk Star Wars? Off the top of your head?
I guess we could probably see who's going to lean into it.
Yeah,
I think
we'll chat about it during in the Discord, and we'll figure.
What day does that come out?
Friday, probably early access Thursday, I would imagine.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think a lot of people are going to be playing it. Also we can. It'd be great if I'm sure there's going to be a lot of streamers that are going to be doing the first one as well this week.
Yeah,
so we can find somebody who does both. We can kind of talk about the differences and all that fun stuff too.
Yep. For sure.
I swear to God, it just for me, the last couple weeks have just been like Darkest Dungeon 2 waiting room.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
that
soon
comes
too.
out the
Yeah,
8th.
that's May 8th, right? Oh
Yeah.
man, that's gonna be
Games
huge.
start
I'm-
rolling out here pretty soon.
I'm debating
Stuff.
trying to shoehorn in a DD1 playthrough, but that's gonna be a thing. So we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway,
Hey, if you need any tips, I got like 400 hours in it.
Maybe.
we'll see.
We'll see.
We're out. Thanks for watching Drop Frames. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, 1 p.m. Eastern. VOD goes up, youtube.com/itmeJP. Later today, if you subscribe, it'll be in your sub box in about probably an hour or so, as soon as I can get it uploaded. Thanks for watching. We're out of here. Have a good one. Thank you, too. We'll see you next week for more. Bye-bye.